Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to episode 6 of Straight Outta Stanton, where usually two of us talk a bunch of stuff about Star Citizen, but this time we had this fresh face, opposite of me,
Yeah.
which is
No
Mr.
hat, no beard.
Quix. Yeah, no hat, no hat, no beard, but we still let him slide through. Like it's okay. We're a friendly bunch. So I'm just gonna like this time Quixilver, who actually like Twitch streamer, content creator, long time backer of Star Citizen, not that long time of a player, and we might get a new streamer in him. So which is one of the reasons why he's here. So can you say a few more things about yourself, Quix?
Yeah, sure. Just to go along with what you were saying there. Yeah, long time backer. I think it was around 2014. Basically, when they opened, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the pledges, and I just threw in the regular $60 and was like, "This looks awesome, right?" The dream of the ultimate space game. Um, it sold everybody, a lot of people,
Did you play any
and
other space games before?
um, oh gosh, now you're putting me on the spot. I mean,
I know you're a Star Wars fan.
so I played like and I don't know the time here, but Night of the Old Republic, the
Oh, I
online Star
love
Wars
those
game.
too. Yes.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking about playing that again just because it had
I
such a
I
good
am playing that
storyline.
right now.
Are
Oh,
you?
the
Yeah,
online.
it's
Sorry,
so good.
sorry. I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah, yeah,
about
it's online.
the two ones that was the Cotter 1 and 2.
Oh, Coder. Yeah.
Those are the ones that
That's
I love.
Yeah, the even the online one, it just has such a good storyline.
yeah.
So and the way that they, there's a lot of games that do that now, like the Fallout type, and you can pick this way and pick this action and do this. So it was like that, but it was online, so you could
Mm.
do it with your friends, and still have that massively multiplayer online role playing experience, but you're more involved in it. It was
Mhm.
more immersive. So I really liked that game. Um, but yeah, there's other space games. I used to go see. I have space, the Kennedy Space Center right here in Florida. So I got to go there as a kid, and my mom actually dated somebody who worked there in Lockheed
Cool.
Martin, actually. And so I would always be at Kennedy Space Center, and it's
That's
just always been
amazing, man.
cool. And so sorry, my chair's gonna make a noise.
Well, don't
In
worry.
some part of my life has been a big part of my life. So but yeah, any kind of game. The Outer Worlds, I know it's not really like a super space game, but I like any kind of futurist. In Mass Effect, you can't see right now, but Mass Effect is like my favorite game series of all time, and I've got the
Ah,
posters all over my room.
you
I
must be
just
Rightfully
ordered.
excited.
so.
The
Yeah,
the new thing is coming out, no?
it's it's kind of funny. Yeah, the Legendary Edition.
Yeah.
I just ordered like a Legendary Cache, which gives you like the helmet and like all these
Yes.
special things, and so it's funny, right? Because Andromeda wasn't really like, I don't know. I can't get into Andromeda, and I know this is a Star Citizen podcast,
No,
but
don't worry about it, man. It's
We talk about other games all the
yeah,
time
yeah,
too. Actually, it's
absolutely.
funny because I Andromeda is one of the ones I've skipped, but I've been recently
hmm
kind of like thinking about picking because you can pick it up cheap now,
sure, yeah.
True.
So figured
It's
why the hell
And
not
you
try
can
it,
run it
right?
on Max, which was a problem back then, kind of, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly. It's kind
yeah,
of a benchmark.
you can't go into that game thinking it's Mass Effect. I don't know. It's really weird.
Oh, okay.
You're in a Mass Effect for the story and the characters and Shepard,
Mhm.
and there's none of that
It's
really.
not that. Yeah.
It's not Shepard. It's not the story. It's
Yeah.
not. So I guess that maybe loses a little bit of its luster. I don't know, but I've forced myself to play it, and there's a difference
Yeah.
between forcing yourself to click on an icon to play a game versus I can't wait to click on this
Yeah, it just
icon to
doesn't
Yeah.
play this
invite you
game.
back. I have this a
Correct.
lot. Yeah.
I could
So
see
I
how it
just
would
can't get that.
be I could see how it would be really jarring, like if you were going directly from like Mass Effect 3 into it.
Mhm.
But like I've now that I've kind of given some distance between those series and stuff like that, and I know a little bit more about the game, like going into Andromeda for me would be something where I'm just expecting basically the universe, you know, not the characters. And I think the universe honestly is interesting enough and a
Mhm.
cool enough universe that it's worth um it's worth exploring. I just have held off so long because I've heard so many bad things about it. But yeah.
Yeah, I know, and you're right, and that's kind of what I still said. Hey, there's still a universe. As a universe, there's still plenty of planets. There's still a lot of ground to cover, but I don't
That's
know if
not
I just
it,
keep.
right?
I don't know what it is. I get into it and I feel like I don't like the way I don't want to give away too much, but it seems like a lot of the game, and I don't know if this gets better at the end. I really haven't looked into it too much, but there's things you do on planets to like revive them, and you're going into these tombs, and it's just kind of like the same style kind of over and over, and I just don't like that style. So,
Right.
but anyway,
Like
yeah,
Mass Effect 1, and where I felt like Mass Effect 1 had a lot of that samey kind of with a lot of the side missions,
hmm
pretty much
people
just
get
like randomized map that they throw you into, and they're like, it's this mission, but it's really just pretty much like a randomized carbon copy of the 3
mhm,
before it.
yeah, and people get stuck in the Citadel, which is like the very beginning city there. It's an hour into that game, and you're stuck in there just running around doing kind of like talking quests, like nothing fun. You're not shooting anybody, and people drop the game. And I'm like, gosh, you just got to get through that. You got to get through that, and then it
But
opens up so much
there
more.
might be a design flaw as well, a little bit. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like where it should
Maybe,
kick
I
you
mean,
out, like and then bring you back. You know what I mean? Like the companies do that better nowadays, but like it's been a while since these games came out as well. We
They're
gotta think about
building,
that as
yeah, that's true, and they're building the story, right? So
well. Okay, fair, yeah.
some people don't play games for the story, or like you said, you could care less about stories in games. So
Most of them, yeah.
you know, yeah, so for that type of person, you would probably just drop the game. But if you like the story and you like building up to that, then once you get past that, then you can incorporate all the action and exploration and getting your ship and stuff. So,
well, that's kind of
uh,
what I was going to say. Like design flaw, I don't know. I mean, I guess, but I wouldn't see it as necessarily a design flaw, except for if they're throwing you into that sort of like really heavy character building, uh, lots of talking quests before you've had a chance to kind of like gain an affinity for any of the characters. Then yes, I would say that's potentially a design flaw. Yeah, but like
I had an
personally,
experience like that recently. That's why that crossed my mind. But it was SnowRunner, but it's still like you drive a truck as you saw, and like they send you to the second map in Alaska, and I'm just gonna be quick, but like they never tell you to go back to Michigan, which is like the first map, and I got stuck on this like technically second level for hours instead of going back to Michigan and completing everything, then going back to Alaska because they just wanted to show me that I can go to other maps as well, and then when I figured out, I was like, why did the game not tell me to go back and finish like everything on the first
right?
map? That's what I'm
I
saying. Like,
gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
where they have that power to like maybe not. It doesn't have to be like super linear, but like you should have a choice. But the game should tell you, hey, you should go out and explore as well. Like this is a big
Yeah.
world or something like that. Like some character should mention that or something like that. That is like secondary or whatever. Anyways, wait. Before we continue with this, we totally took this away from Quicks. so I wanted to know, like, briefly a little more
Welcome
about,
to the
like, a
show.
little bit more about you, and then we're gonna
oh, yeah,
get
sure,
around
yeah.
your channel and all that. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll skip through all that. So yeah, anyway, bought in Star Citizen. At first, you couldn't do anything, right? You were waiting for this and waiting for that. They were obviously been developing the game. I could get in there and I could see see the hangar. I don't even know if you could see your ship at first. So I'd get in and I'd look around and I'd get 15 frames a second looking around at this beautiful
Yep.
hangar because it was just such a crisis type game back then. Nothing's optimized and the graphics are so good, which still kind of is today, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
then you got your ship, and then you can get in and you can walk around your ship and you could do this, still getting 15 frames a second 3 years later with a new computer. And it was just kind of like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna stop. Whenever this game comes out, I'll just play it. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of where I literally have been up until now. And then of course I came across Cheg's stream, I think, from being rated from somebody else, and then he was playing Star Citizen, and I was like, "Oh, Star Citizen! I wonder what it's up to now." And I don't know if you remember Cheg, but like I was
6
giving you
years
crap.
later.
Yeah, you had like a spreadsheet up, and I'm like, "Oh gosh, if I got to have a spreadsheet for this game, I'm out." Like
Did
I don't have time for
if you
that.
someone said that a couple of times, and I was like, no, this is not Eve. Stop.
Yeah.
Because the spreadsheet you don't even need it. You know which spreadsheet, Maso? The one where the old one from 3.8 that I use, where I can see just where you can buy which chip, and that's it. It's like not really.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you use it
Doesn't seem really too
once in a
much.
month or something. You should see something, but
Mhm.
you can find it the other way.
Yeah.
It's not really.
But he didn't kick me out, and he kept actually, saying, no, that's not how it is. He's like, and then he kind of talked me into it and kept me there, and I kept bugging him and kept coming back. So,
I'm glad
um,
you did, man.
yeah, and then I would watch it. Yeah, and I would watch it some more. I'm like, man, this is okay. You can actually like get out there and play,
Yeah.
what they've created so far. And in that meantime, I was playing No Man's Sky. So, because it actually, I mean, not to say, it is a game.
Yeah.
So, I really,
No, you're 100% correct there. Yeah.
it's an actual game. And of course, it had its major rough start, obviously, right? We all know that. But
Mhm.
anyway, really, really enjoy No Man's Sky. So, because you can exploration, get out, you can have spaceships, bases, all that kind of good stuff. So, it was the epitome of I want to get in a starship. I want to see a planet. I want to go to that planet. I want to land on that planet. I want to get out
Yes.
of my starship and walk around. So, that was what we all wanted, right? And that's what we all wanted from
Absolutely. Yeah.
Star Citizen. So, of course, it's the epitome. It's going to be so close to being there, I'm assuming. But I don't know a whole lot about it right now. But other than that, I started a small YouTube channel about my car. I'm big into cars, and
Oh yeah. What do you drive?
currently I drive a Kia Stinger GT2.
Oh, dude,
I
those
was
things
waiting
are
for this
sick.
moment.
Yeah,
I'm driving a Mark 7 GTI right now. I
Cool.
recently sold my 335, and I just did a stage 1 high torque tune to it, and got my suspension in now, and my wheels and tires are ordered. I'm
There you go.
pretty stoked.
Yeah, we could get along good. I actually have one right here too. There you go.
Sick. Yeah.
And it is blue.
Nice.
Mine's blue as well.
Nice.
But
Yeah, good color.
yeah,
That was my 335. I loved the blue.
nice. Yeah, me too. I actually, so long story, I had a Hellcat actually before this,
Oh shit.
and I worked for Dodge, and I just got a really, really stupid lease deal on it. But anyway, I started driving a lot of miles for work, so obviously the Hellcat just was not, it
Yep.
wasn't economic. Just
What is that? A
Not at all.
6.3 liter supercharged
6.2,
V8?
yeah, yep, 707 horsepower. Yep.
Jesus. Yeah, that's maybe a bit thirsty for a commuter car.
Yeah, and I mean, I was driving literally like 100 miles one way, 3 times a week. So I
Jesus.
mean, I went from driving 2 miles a day to my job to 200 miles. So I had to trade it. I made the decision to trade it in and got something with the Stinger. It's nice. It's more economic. It's not so loud. It's still pretty quick. And like you, I put a tune on it, some intakes and some colder plugs, and now I can beat Scat Packs, which are the 485 horsepower big Hemi
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Chargers. So it's pretty quick for what it is. So I really like it. And I have
A tune on that's got to be what, like close to 500 horse, hey?
it's like, so they say that if you run a little bit of ethanol mix, do the plugs, do the intake, and then a certain tune, you can get 440 wheel horsepower.
Yeah.
So that's pretty close to 500. Yeah, it's crazy.
I was really worried when I moved from my 335 that I was going to not like the GTI at all. But my buddy works down at VW, and he's
That's
just
fun.
like, just come test drive a GTI,
Mhm.
before you write it off. But I'm like the
A good car
335
can make you fall in love quickly.
Yeah, well, I was just worried because going from rear wheel drive,
Mhm.
300 horsepower, 300 torque, at 1500 RPM, like really accessible low end torque and stuff like that. I was like,
Nice.
there's no way I'm gonna like going to a front wheel drive that's 80 horsepower down and and then 40 pounds torque down. But I jumped into it, and the weight was really what sold
Mhm.
me on it. Like, they're so much lighter than my 335. And now that I've got a tune in it, Jesus, I'm pushing 400 pound-feet of torque in a 3,000-pound car.
Right.
It's just like stupid fast. But yeah,
Mhm. I've got
I mean,
a,
not
Almost
Hellcat
like a
fast,
spaceship. No?
but
You
yeah, and
just need to
I'm
install wings.
yeah, I'll get over it quick, but yeah, I've got a toy SRT4 too. If you're familiar with those neon, the neon that came with the turbo from the factory.
Mm.
I know you're in Canada, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm not sure if they're up there or not, but anyway, it's a neon from 2004.
Oh
they came-
yes, yeah,
yeah.
I am familiar with those. Yeah.
They came with a turbo from the factory, and I've actually got that to the point where it can beat a Hellcat. So it's about 500 wheel horsepower, and it weighs 2,900 pounds.
Jesus, yeah.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
my toy car. So anyway, yeah, I'm into cars. So anyway, my YouTube channel got big when I made a video telling people how I got a Hellcat for $500 a month, and I got about 6,000 subscribers
Jesus.
there. And but how Chegg knows, and if anybody who does YouTube knows, it's a lot of work as far as editing and uploading and tagging, and if you want to do it the right way, and
Mhm.
camera equipment, and sometimes you're just wanting to do like sometimes I need to fix my car, but now I'm videoing myself fixing my car,
It
getting all the camera
changes
angles right,
everything, dude.
yeah, like doing the verbal, narrating it. So anyway, it would take all day to make a YouTube video, and I've got
Oh, yeah.
kids, 2 kids, a full-time job, and
Beautiful, cute kids. You
thank
guys
you.
can see them sometimes on his Twitch channel. I was enjoying yesterday so much. Those guys are so cute, and those smiles, like, ah, man,
Yeah,
amazing.
they drive me crazy, but
Of course they do.
they're
That's their
good.
job. No.
But yeah, they make up for it. So anyway, so that's what kind of brought me to streaming, and I said, well, I used to do live videos on, I used to do leasing, a lot of advice on leasing. I have a lot of leasing advice videos on how to get a better lease or how to buy a car better. So that's what I would do. I was like the good car salesman, right? I was telling people what normal dealerships do.
How not to
So like,
fall into a trap, right?
correct.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of series on that. So I would do a live video on basically ask me questions, ask me anything, or I'd give the current lease rates and current lease residuals. And I really liked that live interaction with my subscribers or followers. And, I'd crack a beer open and we would just chill for a
Yeah.
couple hours, and it was just a good time. So when I saw everybody streaming, I'm like, well, that's basically what I was doing, but now I get to play a video game while I do it. And I was
Yep.
like, oh, and I don't have to edit everything. And I've already got all this equipment. So
Yep.
I was like, hey, why not give it a shot? So
Dude,
here I am.
I think you should combine the car thing with your streaming too,
I've
man.
been
Because
thinking about it.
it'd be super cool to just like have kind of a live environment where like yeah, like people can come in, just like pitch questions about again, like you're talking about like how to get a better lease,
Mhm.
just shoot the shit about cars and stuff like that too. I'd be into that anyways.
I've been thinking about how to integrate it properly
Have you
because,
do you still drive
well,
like to work like that long, 3 times a week?
well, with the virus and stuff like that, I don't go and see too many people in person anymore.
Hmm.
So it's definitely not as much driving. But when I do have to visit those clients, I do drive
So the thing
that
is, I
part.
watch a couple of YouTube videos. It's kind of just a funny phenomenon. One is I showed you, Maso, I think, that girl that drives the FedEx truck. And then
Yeah, yeah.
I watched two more people who just they do like vlogging about the game that I like. It doesn't really matter, and they literally just have a cam on the dash, and as they're going to work and back, they record the video, and it's like they just add intro and outro, no edit, nothing. And I don't know what they did with this. Like the cars they're driving in a truck are fucking soundproof. I don't get it. Like the sound is really crisp, but
Hmm.
the edit is nothing. They just sit in the car and just do their thing, and it's very popular actually because there's something about us humans who enjoy driving. When we are driving, we're like in some specific mood where it's very, how we are all used to chit chat while driving as well, unless we're like racing or something like that. So people, I guess, I feel really good having someone driving on the other screen and just listening to what they have to say. I don't know. Maybe
Yes.
you can think about it. Like maybe you did already. Just
Yeah.
threw something out there that I enjoy. That's all.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I wouldn't say I've done it live. I don't know if you were mentioning that they did it live or not.
They're not doing it
Um,
live, no.
okay. So if you did watch any of my videos basically on my YouTube, if I am explaining anything or doing any kind of tutorial videos,
While
I'm doing
driving,
it
yeah.
while I'm driving in the
Yeah.
car. Yeah.
I'll say right
So
now, like Jimmy Broadbent, I love that guy. He usually streams from the shed, but when he does a video of something, like with his Skyline or something like that, that's what it is, and it really
mhm.
feels good. I don't know why, but it feels really good.
Yep, that's exactly what I do. I have a nice microphone. I have a
Yep.
nice microphone set up for my GoPro and a nice suction cup mount, and I
Mm,
do all of my 99% of my videos unless I'm like working on the car, in the car while I'm driving.
amazing.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so here I am, and that's now we're talking about Star Citizen, and I don't have a friggin' clue. I want a clue.
Well, we'll help
It's a
you with
little, it's a
that.
little
We'll help you
daunting.
with that.
It's a little bit daunting, and I just
It's
I
more than
jumped
a
in.
little bit daunting, and that's the
Yeah,
point of this whole
yeah.
episode.
Exactly, and I jumped into just a little bit more. I jumped into Elite Dangerous, and of course it's
Mm.
daunting, right? It was as well.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do. I said, you know what? I downloaded it and I was like, let me just get in here and see if I can flub through it and see if my streamers can. Let's see if people or followers can help me literally learn the game. Like
And
no looking it up, no opening up a book. And I don't want to say that that's like using them as a crutch, but I thought it would be a cool like interactive type
it
thing.
is a cool interaction.
Yeah.
We can talk about
and
this.
it worked. It did, and I got literally through
Yep.
playing Elite Dangerous, and people would jump into Discord and guide me through
Yep.
rebuilding a ship and how to explore and how to fight and how to combat, and I enjoyed it.
This is so important when you start your stream, to be open about not knowing a game, because there's so many people around, especially in like MMOs and especially space MMOs, that will want to help and see your first experience again. We talked about this a couple of times,
Mhm.
because they lived their first experience in a game already, and then the only way to reflect back to it, because you can't, like, once you only start your Aurora first for the first time once, and that's it. Like, next time you already had it, and reliving this new player experience is something that a lot of Twitch viewers are actually there for. So I had this with the exact same game. I tried playing Elite Dangerous after playing Star Citizen and EVE Online, which in my opinion are both better games. Well, Star Citizen not yet, but you know what I mean. And I tried on my own, like, I don't know, like 10 times, dude, and it never, like, I would just fly around, do one thing, and get out. And just like what we were talking about before, it would never pull me back in. Like, it just doesn't happen. And then
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna do it on stream, because there's no other way. Because if I say I'm gonna stream Elite Dangerous for a week, then I have to keep up with it. And of course, after 7 days of streaming Elite Dangerous, I had a couple of people helping me out. I understood everything about the game. Well, I did not know everything, but I was understanding the game, and I started
Yeah.
actually enjoying the game, obviously, because the game is not bad. That's the truth. It's just different, but it's definitely not bad.
Right.
Still turn on every now and then. I had the same experience with the Elder Scrolls Online. That's how I grew my channel. I went in, I was like, I don't know what the crap I'm doing. And I made it to like the top of directory, partnership, everything, because I was like that. People would come in and help and enjoy seeing me learn, and I would mention it, like, oh, this guy told me that. That's why I know it, a year later. It's
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
I definitely had a different experience when I started streaming Star Citizen, because I was like very obsessed with the game, like following it very religiously and stuff like that, and actually playing it quite a bit as well before I jumped into streaming. So I found more so my role was kind of reversed when I started streaming.
Mm.
I'd have new people kind of come into the game, and I still got to kind of relive that new player experience a little bit, but it was more as the like from the tutor side of thing than
Providing it, yeah.
than having people kind of like show me around. So, but yeah, I mean, I think like we touched on a few weeks ago, just that new player experience is something that like you only get once, but when you get to relive it through new people to the game, you kind of like get to like you get a little bit of
Kick,
that
basically.
that sense of awe again. You get
Yeah.
to experience that sense of awe again, as if as if you're brand new, and that's one of the things I found about Star Citizen that was probably one of the biggest attractions to the game for me, was just again like stepping out of Port Olisar, looking up and seeing the giant gas giant in the sky and stuff like that, and just being like
Yep.
because I'm a huge space nerd, so that kind of stuff like it's that attention to detail that really just like kind of awed me, and it's fun reliving that.
Well, and that's kind of what I want to do. And I think actually another thing that might have been holding me back, which is kind of funny, but not, is I don't like to do things half-assed, for lack of a better term. And not to say that my rigs weren't good, but I wanted, when I was going to play Star Citizen, I wanted to like have like the next level like PC. And I didn't want to, because I jumped in when Chegg was telling me about it. I re-downloaded it. I popped
Guilty.
in. All I did was I spent more time turning down settings so I could just walk through a city and
That's
I was
fair.
just like, I was like, dang. And I'm like, I had a i7700K, like a 1070 superclock, like 16 gigs of RAM. Like it wasn't
Whoa,
like a,
really?
yeah, like it wasn't a
Okay,
bad setup,
I know now something I did not know then, and
but
this we need to talk about this in news as well. Maso, you might know something about it. Turning down the settings in Star Citizen screws up your performance, and we can't
Really?
explain it. Yeah, we tested
Huh.
this on 4 different gigs, and even with like a crappier rigs, if you bump it up to like the highest settings, it starts working better. Someone tried to explain is like the Star Citizen is not, if it's not, I don't know how to explain this, but like if it's not maxed out, it's not utilizing everything you have like on your rig, which
Hmm.
makes no sense to
Interesting.
me. I don't know, but maybe just like optimization or something. It actually
Yeah.
freaking works, dude. That's so crazy.
no, I can actually believe that because I think when I was playing around earlier, like in the hangars and stuff like that, when all I could do was like be in my hangar and be in my starship, I would crank the settings up to high and I really wouldn't notice like that much of a frame
Yeah.
drop
Yeah.
difference. And I was like, do I just need to leave the settings on high? I wonder if it's something like the game was based around such a high resolution that maybe the game is actually downgrading itself while it's trying to process the graphics almost in a way, kind of like
It,
encoding.
yeah.
It's
It's possible,
decoding.
man. Because
I don't
it's
know.
like
I don't
I mean,
know,
even right
but
now, even if you have a top end rig right now,
you will
like
never get the, yeah,
you'll get maybe 60 frames a second.
Mhm.
depending where
Like
you are. And then there's so
yeah.
many things. It's so hard to. So yesterday, Spats got 16 more gigs of RAM, and he's like watching my stream constantly, and he started playing recently. So he had 16. He ordered 16 more, and he was like, "Man, I'm still not having, good blah blah." And I'm like, "Dude, you can't like based on one session, because there's like these little things. I don't know if you remember, Maso, when like you would be in Lorville, and an NPC like UE ship or a pirate ship would end up like in Lorville's atmosphere or whatever, and it
Yeah.
would like start like making such like I had like 1 frame per minute. It was stupid, like you can't per second, okay? Like it was really dumb. And then with the new patch, it actually works so much better for me in terms of performance, not like other things. I woke up in New Babbage again. It was so bad. I was streaming. It was so bad. I was like, oh, not again. And I left my room, and everything was amazing. Like, so these are these little things with Star Citizen where you can't really, that sucks, man. You can't really go in and
Yeah.
test and figure out how good the performance is of your rig and what you need to upgrade. It's, oh,
Not to
yeah.
mention that I mean it varies so heavily from patch to patch because, like I played a lot of patches on pretty much the same machine that you used to have, Quicksilver. Like
Oh,
and I mean I wasn't getting like crazy high frame rates or anything like that, but like definitely playable. Um,
enjoyable, rather. It's not like just, I mean, it was okay.
yeah,
I don't know. There were
it
so many
definitely
things. Like
is.
I had to
Yeah,
downgrade my NVIDIA drivers a couple of times in this last year so the game just can work,
yeah,
and it would make such a big difference. And like, whoa. But that's,
yeah.
we play alpha. Like, I mean, it comes with
Mhm.
it, right? So
Anyway, I have no
indeed,
excuses now, I guess, at least.
yeah.
So I think I got a decent setup now, so I'm ready. I'm ready to go. And
I
I did play it.
can't wait for you to like start actually streaming it, man. Like, I can't
I
wait.
did I did play it. I see. I don't even know the name of the city, right? So it's is it New Babbage? I think it's Babbage, right? The ice one, the
Yes,
Yeah.
snow
that's
one.
new Babbage.
Babbage? Oh, question number one. Knocked it out of the park.
Nice. I thought we were
Uh,
gonna have a quiz.
so no, but I walked out there and I was like, wow, okay, this is cool. Like obviously, it's not 144 frames a second, but it was definitely more like you said, probably like 50s or something like that. So
Yeah.
but it was definitely a lot more playable than it was before, and it was beautiful and
Especially when you're
everything was cranked
streaming.
up.
Like that's the problem I had with my previous setup. Was when I try to stream it was when I'd run into like the serious
True.
performance issues. And for me, the thing that made the biggest difference was actually my processor upgrade. I went from it was an i5 of the same generation, overclocked to the nuts, but like I moved to an AMD platform with the like
Oh yeah.
better multi-core support and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden streaming was fine. Like that was the thing that made the difference for me.
Do you,
Because other than that, I didn't change any of the hardware. I was still running on the same video card. Same RAM.
I can confirm this. I stream and play. Like when I play, I still have better performance. But I mean, I can stream. It looks okay, but I can feel the difference. Today I was playing the Xenothread, and I was like, oh, "Holy shit! It's so cool. It works so much better. I can feel it. Like, I can definitely feel it." But yeah.
Do you guys use your processors to encode while you're streaming?
Yeah.
You guys use H.264 then, or the X264?
Okay.
Yeah. So
especially because when I started streaming, I had when I got this rig, I had 8700K, and I had 1060 6 gigs GPU, so it was not even a choice really. that CPU is so much better than that GPU. Now I have 1080 streaks with 8 gigs, but still that 8700K does good for streaming.
The 8700 is a beast, man.
It is,
like it's just a beast.
And now I have 32 gigs of RAM. That was 16 gigs with OBS and everything. That was, oh my god, that was so stressful in Star Citizen.
Star Citizen is RAM hungry to begin with, but if you're going to stream it, you absolutely need 32 gigs.
OBS and SC are not friends.
Yep, I bought 32 gigs because my new rig only came with 60. I had to buy for the first time ever in my life. I had to buy a pre-built computer to get a 3080.
Yeah,
and
a lot of people are doing it that way. Yeah.
Anybody who knows about the graphics card crisis right now knows. Yep. So it only came with 16 gigs, but I bought another 16 because JustCheg told me.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, it's a big difference. For playing, doesn't matter, but for streaming, it's going to be a big. Because it says that SC uses 8, but if you look at it, it goes up to 20. It's like if you're monitoring it, you just get into an area and it's like 20 gigs of RAM, and I'm like, this game, dude, I love you, but are you nuts? Hello.
Yep, I was maxing,
man.
Yep. Yeah, when I had it up, I was watching I had the resources up. I don't know if it was you telling me or helping me, but somebody, or I just checked it. But yeah, it was pushing like 80-90%.
Yep, crazy. All right.
Let alone anything else going on.
I'm gonna stop us here. It was a really cool chit chat to like get fuzzy and just chill around. But now we're gonna just go through some couple of the topics that we usually do. So we're gonna start with the news. I know that you're not following as crazy as we are, but if you have any like questions or comments, just jump in, man. Like we're just three fellas talking about the game that we are passionate about. That's all. So, I did not say, by the way, you can find Maso on Twitch TV, MasoKast, which you can also watch this stream live on. Podcast being recorded live every Sunday at some time. I don't know when. We don't know yet, but we'll get that going. And I am streaming on Twitch TV /JustCheg. In case you're watching on YouTube. So yeah, you can also catch us all live. We do love this game, and even if we're not streaming that, I'm pretty sure each one of us will be more than happy to talk about Star Citizen at any given time, regardless of we know what we're talking about. If you teach me something new or I teach you something new, that's all good. I don't care. I just love talking about it. Okay, so sorry.
And as for the timing of the streams, I'd say like even though we don't have it like fully nailed down yet, it is between like 10 and 12 PST usually is when we go live. So somewhere between there, you'll catch us. And I always do a post on Twitter before we're gonna go live. So
as soon as we nail down the time, I'll tell you what this is for my European pilots. Like I don't know, they speak this North American language. I don't understand that, but yeah,
we.
I think somewhere around 8-9 p.m. Central European.
I really just need to figure out UTC, but I just haven't yet.
But yeah, we just need. We just need universal time. That I agree 100%. Okay, so in the news, big news this week. Patch 3.12.1 finally dropped, and with it Xenothread, which is a new thing that happens around very close to MIC L1. Which is next to Microtech and next to Jericho Station. Basically, what happens? We have a really big ship, which is called Javelin, and that has been damaged while transporting cargo from somewhere to somewhere. I'm not like 100% sure, but it's not Stanton. It was just passing by. It was attacked by Xenothread, and what we do, like the whole server basically can join. There's one thing that like everyone is like picking up different boxes and delivering them to a location to help Javelin get fixed. And Xenothreat is attacking, sending Idris and a couple more ships around at Jericho that we can protect. And we'll talk about this a little bit later. I played it today finally, and I am surprised to say that it was actually an amazing experience. No stream, nothing. I just went in with random people and had so much fun. We'll talk about it later. Definitely suggest everyone to try it. I think it happens every 20-30 minutes. You might end up in a server that has it already. Check your what's the name? Help me out, Maso. Mobiglass. Got it. And go to, if you don't see it, go to Microtech and you'll get it. Very disappointing thing was we were all waiting so much for this patch 3.12.1 because of this and some other things, right? The performance update, which I think is there.
That's
and all
more
that.
what I was interested in.
Yeah, I agree. However, the patch landed and there was no Xenothreat, which is the name of the patch and whatnot. And then I went around and I figured out that in the Xenothreat page on robertspacindustries.com, they said that they expect this convoy to go through Stanton in about 24 to 48 hours. They're role playing that. I mean, like, okay, are we in alpha or not? What's happening here? You know what I mean?
I'm curious about that.
I don't know why they did this. First day I stayed longer. Like I started my stream at midnight just to see it, and it was very disappointing. I don't know why they do that, man. Maybe they were trying to test something before the event happens. The server stability. But then how would that change anything? I don't get it.
I don't know. That's interesting. I had no idea that even happened. So
yeah, it did. And I was being stressed about it. Someone in chat said, well, no, it will happen in next day or two. And you're like, what do you mean day or two? And I'm like, what does it, do we have to do something? They're like, no, they have to flip the switch. And I'm like, you are full of shit. And they were not. That's exactly what happened. So they had to start the event at some point, and now it's in its own cycle or whatever.
The only thing I can think of is that they're kind of like a little bit gun shy about these big events now, kind of rolling off of a patch after, without testing them for stability first. Because when you look back at it, like the IAE, the Fleet Week event especially, like Fleet Week went live as soon as they rolled out that patch, and everything
or like 2
died.
hours later. Like
yeah, like everything exploded. So so I could see them kind of just doing this in such a way.
What would have changed? Would they pull back the patch, or
just making sure that the live build that they roll out, the build itself, is stable enough for them to start pushing this dynamic event, which let's be honest here, is absolutely something that's pushing their resources hard. You can tell by the performance that we get kind of in those areas. So
after Levski was gone, the game actually, I feel the difference.
Sure.
And I did the whole Jericho today with like bunch of people, and I had one freeze, like game freeze when so that was the first time I guess my rig loaded explosion of Javelin. It makes sense. Sorry, not Javelin, the Idris.
The Idris.
And then the next time, no. The next time we tried to kill the Idris, it was fine. I didn't even get like any frame issues or anything like that, which is surprising. Here's another theory. Tinfoil hats on. When 3.12.1 came out, they added ships on sale. All variants of Vanguard, Retaliator Bomber, Eclipse, Saber, a couple more ships, I don't know. And so these are all the big guns that you can use to fight target Xenothreat. And someone mentioned that, hey, what if they're like debating people to buy ships before the event starts? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like if you keep the ships there for a week, people will buy it if they want to do it anyways. Like I don't know, like I don't know if that's a legit idea. I don't know.
I don't know. Personally, I'm just I'm just generally of the opinion that all the ships that are available for sale should just be available
All
at
the
all
time.
times.
Yes, I agree.
I think that they like.
Do you know what this is, Quix? Like what do we mean by ships being available?
I mean, I just in general.
So to have like a roster of ships that is always available on their page
like
that you
for
can buy
real
for real money.
basically. Yeah.
Okay,
And then there's like this artificial scarcity of our ships. And then now they just added like I don't know, like 10 ships that you can't buy except like if there's an event or something. So
And specifically to be clear here, we're talking about for real money
For
on
real
the
money, yeah.
website versus in game,
Okay,
because all
right.
these ships that we're talking about are available in game if you want to grind to buy them. That's where I bought my Vanguard, for example.
true.
Um,
Which is
but
now much easier than before as well, but yeah.
yeah, but for some reason, well, okay, no, I can't say for some reason because the whole artificial scarcity and FOMO tactics on the website has clearly been working out for them if you look at
It
their
does.
sales.
That's work.
But I've just kind of been like, I don't know. It's so basically these ships will only become available at certain times throughout the year, like once or twice a year, kind of a thing. And I don't know. I just think it's past time for that. Like if like you can buy ships in game, but if people want to spend money on them, I think they should just be able to spend money on them. You know what I mean?
I got
Like don't police people's wallets. If they think that this is something that has value to them and they want to do, just let them do it. Don't make them wait for like a a specific time of year. So
got you.
for me, when I saw that they'd added these like heavy combat ships, to be available for real money, I don't know. I didn't look twice at it. I was just like, good, it's about time.
Nah, but I don't think they're gonna keep them there. Unfortunately, I agree with you 100%. And also, that would prevent people from buying from black market, right?
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
I'm not gonna lie, like I got my Reliant Sand. I wanted Reliant Sand, and you can't get it. And Orchid bought it for me. I don't want to know where from.
Yeah, I got my BMM off the gray market.
Because you can't get them. You know what I mean? Like, what am I supposed to wait for a random date sometimes that we don't even know when it happens and all that? Like,
well, and that's it, right? Like that's where it's frustrating because like at the period of time where I was actually spending money on this game, like that's exactly what happened. Like I would have happily bought it from the website, but it wasn't available. The ships that I wanted weren't available on the website. So I went and just bought it off of some dude instead. And like, I guess it doesn't really matter to CIG because they get their money one way or the other. Somebody bought that ship at some point. It's just frustrating that I have to go through these potentially dodgy, scam-filled, channels, when I was there, I was finding value in the game and I wanted to spend the money and I just, it wasn't available. So anyways, I mean, this is a whole other topic.
Yeah, it is.
Fair, but...
And we should maybe talk about it in like one of the next shows because black market is a big thing, and I think black market is how the prices get pumped up during these events because a lot of people buy a lot of ships to be able to sell it throughout the year. And instead of fighting that behavior, CIG is like, money goes in, which I
totally
don't like.
Yeah, actually, that's funny because there's actually
I want him to make money always, but not that way. That's all.
Yeah, like the whole situation that we're seeing now with GPUs being like bought out by scalpers and resold for price. This has been something that's been happening in Star Citizen for years now. Scalpers are going in with bots and buying up these like rare ships and then reselling them on the gray market for like twice what what they're worth or worth, quote unquote, on the Star Citizen website. So yeah, it's kind of
SC can teach you so many things. Like, like whoever plays Star Citizen went into Cyberpunk had a lot of fun because we're already used to that crap happening. Like, you want to get the 3080, you already see how the black market works in Star Citizen. It just teaches you things, That's what it is.
Yeah. All right. I definitely wasn't as salty about Cyberpunk just because, again, I've been playing Star Citizen for years. I know what bugs are. Trust me, Cyberpunk's bugs are really mild compared to the shit we deal with.
Yeah, but it's a game, not an alpha, so let's
True.
not go there.
Okay, we
I
won't go there.
respect that studio, but like they made a big boo boo there for me. I don't know.
Yes, I will admit that. Yes, they did make a big boo-boo there.
All right, so we had SCL and ISC, which is Star Citizen Live and Inside Star Citizen as well. Star Citizen Live, I'm not even going to talk about it. Like, man, it was 6 people. Well, Jared and 5 more, I think, talking about FPS weapons. Okay. And then we had Inside Star Citizen, which was all about Xenothread and 312, which, I don't know, it was kind of boring because we knew everything already, right? But
yeah,
it was
312 was
good
out.
to have, right? Yeah, exactly. But like it was good to have for those who are not following as crazily as we are.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was not a bad episode. And then that one is only 10 minutes ish, so it's always fine to like watch it and whatnot.
I like the white box with the Redeemer for sure. That was cool. But as for the SCL, like this is something we said I think even last week, maybe the week before. Like the Star Citizen lives are they're just hit or miss, man. Like not all of them are gonna appeal to you. Like neither Chegg or I were into this one because it's basically them sitting down with the art teams and talking about like how they build out these FPS weapons, which to me,
absolutely,
it's just not my thing, right?
I don't know. I mean,
but like I'm
don't
sure
get me
some people
wrong,
like it, but
they do great stuff and all that. It's amazing and important. Like the last one was logos, this one was FPS weapons. I just kind of feel like FPS weapons were in there like so many times in the last year. I don't get it, but sure.
It does kind of feel like that.
Yeah.
Eh? I mean,
no
to be fair,
really cares about it.
When you look at the detail on those weapons and stuff like that, they're really impressive. Yeah,
and it goes hand in hand with logos. Like I will always buy freaking Lumen because I love that weapon. I already have like a connection to it, right? Usually people know what kind of weapons they're buying, you know, so they're doing a great job. Don't get me wrong, but like
I just don't want to watch an hour long.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But still, they have to, you know, that's their promise to community. So whatever, I guess they just feel, especially now with Corona and everything, it's okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we had white box of the Redeemer, which is a community created ship, then changed kind of a lot by the CIG to fit into their own.
I think it changed that much.
But... Well, okay, but yeah, we're still wondering if there's a second exit on that ship or not, and if there's a like toilet and beds and whatnot. So couldn't see it from there.
I think it will have living quarters, just given how big that ship has got. The Redeemer we're talking about here, Quixilver, is they did a series way back, like I think it was actually around 2013, 2014, called The Next Great Starship, where they put the question out to the community and said like, form your teams and build a ship, and then you get to like pitch it to CIG, and the person who wins, like they did it kind of like reality TV show style, where like it was like a whole series or whatever, and then the ship team that won, CIG would actually take their design and put it in game. And obviously it's many years down the road now because there was, the Redeemer got kind of pushed down to like very low priority, but now they're starting to build this ship out, and it's like a 3 or 4 person heavy gunship, big ass,
with a lot of different guns and turrets. It has different like landing gear and all that than any other ship, and it looks interesting, But to me, I have a problem with that ship.
It's changed a lot from where they started because they had to.
But you can see how this was not made by CIG. Because they made it ages, and it doesn't look like any manufacturer's like language really.
Well, yeah, it was done so long ago before they'd really nailed down like what the individual brands of ships were supposed to look like.
Freelancer was made long ago, but it still fits. MISC. Andromeda does feel like RSI ship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but MISC was one of the ones that was like very early established, right? Like when did we get the first?
It doesn't matter. Ship? You're right, but like it doesn't matter. If you let community make a ship, it will just not fit fully into everything. It just breaks a little bit. It's a great idea, but don't do it ever again, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, they're never going to, because Chris has been basically on record saying that he fucking hates the Redeemer. So
yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be done like that, in my opinion. But they're brave and they do some things like that, and kudos to them. You gotta try. Sure.
It was a fun show to watch, but yeah. Anyways, I'm a Redeemer fan, not necessarily because of, the way the ship looks or whatever, just because I think it'll be a really fun ship to like grab a couple friends and just go blow the shit out of stuff with. I think it'll be fun.
There.
I think I'm looking at it right now.
You are? Did you find it?
Yeah. I think so. It's got 2 wings that looks like they expand.
Oh yeah, they expand. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if they're gonna keep that personally. Like there was a whole bunch of that ship that
It is on
game
the
doesn't
new
really-
white box thing.
does it? Oh,
I
okay.
think it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can tell it doesn't really fit the mold to typical ships.
Right?
yeah. It looks
I'm not
very
saying
different.
it's bad or anything like that. No, because
just
it did get CIG polish, and they made it as good as it can be since they were not originally designing it and all that. But it just feels like it's from another game, kind of.
Yeah,
Totally
okay,
not
I'll
like
give you that.
Nomad. While we are talking about this, check out Consolidated Outland Nomad, which is a new ship, and you play the Elite Dangerous and tell me if it reminds you of anything from there. Which is a new ship that just came out. You can just search for Star Citizen Nomad.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the other thing that we got is this was not like
Oh yeah.
this
yeah,
came
shit.
in on Spectrum as a post or even Reddit, and it's a sneak peek of Orison, I think, landing zone, and yeah, it looks like Orison. What do you think?
Yeah, for
Maso?
sure. It's absolutely Orison, for sure.
Are you satisfied with what you've seen there?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's what they've done so far with it. Seems like it's cool. I'm definitely gonna spend time there from what I've seen.
Boy, especially if they keep PO. I mean, it's gonna be the place for sure, even more.
That's
PO,
like-
I think, will end up being the orbital station, just like Everest Harbor is to Hurston. That's what
Yeah.
they're gonna do with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
you think they're gonna change the visuals of that? Wait, Quixilver
Oh,
has
yeah.
something to tell us.
Oh no,
Okay.
it looks like an asp.
Absolutely is an ass.
have one of those.
Even inside, like everything is square. And I'll tell you one more thing: the whole UI is orange, dude. Like this was
Yeah.
definitely a hit. To like,
okay.
you know what I mean? I don't know why they did this, but you could say out of respect because. Fun fact for those who don't know: because both games were Kickstarters, and Chris Roberts backed Elite Dangerous when it was, before it was a game yet. Well, I mean, this one that we're talking about, right? And he kind of nudged the community to help out another space game because it's important to have more than one. And he has respect for Elite Dangerous. Unfortunately, player base of these two games is not in love that much. I mean, some people.
It's just normal,
It's normal.
unfortunately. I
Maybe even healthy a little bit,
think it is. I think it's tribalism. It's fanboyism, and I think we as a society just need to get the fuck over that. Like, let people like what they like, and also you can like more than one thing. If you're a Star Wars fan, yeah, I don't know.
I agree. Yeah.
You're a Dodge, a Dodge salesman driving a Kia.
Mhm.
It's okay. You can like different things.
No, I agree, but I think it's kind of good for the publicity of the game that a little bit of that, as you call it, tribalism exists. I don't know. There's sparks every now and then.
Sure, but like there are people who take it way too far,
Yeah,
and they're
we had the situation. You
they
guys know
whatever they
Chrono.
can.
He should be on
No.
this podcast at some point as well. But I was watching his stream yesterday, and there was this guy who came to his stream, and he's like, "I would kick you. You don't know how to fly." And we figured out he doesn't play Star Citizen. We're like, "What's your problem?" Like, it's and then he's like, "I should just get my sticks and see you in Elite Dangerous. That's where it is." And then he just for an hour he was talking about Elite Dangerous, no matter what we were talking about it, and in the end he got banned. Not because we hate Elite Dangerous, just because what is wrong with you, dude? Like no one even has anything against that game in his chat. You know what I mean? Like it's yeah. Some people go over the edge. I'm sure he's very active on Reddit as well.
It's just frustrating, right? Like you can like Elite Dangerous and like Star Citizen, or in my case, I'm kind of indifferent to Elite Dangerous, but like yeah, like you said, it's healthy to have more than one space game out there. Like I'm
You
glad
can
that this
poke a
space
game a little bit,
genre.
like I do for No Man's Sky, which I actually respect a lot. But I will
Yep.
make a
No Man's
joke
Sky.
or two. Yeah. I think it's a little bit cartoony and whatnot, but do I
I played
think
it.
like it's a
I
bad?
played it when it came out, even, and I liked it. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's not a simulator, right? It's not supposed to be real.
No, it's a different
So
game.
it's a different game.
Yeah,
absolutely. So
All it
so a
is.
little bit of healthy poking, I don't mind, but like some people are
sure.
just lunatics. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Healthy poking, as in, i.e., somebody raids him from No Man's Sky, and the first thing he does is call it the crappy cartoony game. Oh, you're here
No.
for the real space game.
Yes,
Oh,
that's what I said. Welcome
yes,
to the
the
real
real.
space game. Yeah. But Elena agreed, and we have a history. We're good friends, and that made her laugh, which was the idea. Yeah. Okay, that's the news. Like, not much else happened really. There was something awkward. Speaking of my favorite ship, Reliance San showed up in the store for like 10 minutes and disappeared.
Weird.
Which is a
Somebody pushed the
science
wrong button.
exploration ship, has nothing to do with the Xenothreat, and obviously someone make a mistake. Whatever, okay. But yeah, it's not there anymore, so you can't buy it. Too bad. Yeah. Okay, so that's the news. And now, this is something that usually we would go to what we did in game and whatnot, but we're gonna go to that later. Because we have Quicks here. And here was the original idea. Like, some of you might question our decision to bring Quicks in here, since he's obviously not playing the game as much as we are and whatnot. But that was actually the idea, because I've been talking to Quicks lately quite a lot, and I know he got a new rig and he was planning to stream the game and play regardless of streaming or not. And we talked about like the new player experience through like the eyes of the experienced ones already being a cool thing, and we had this idea about bringing Quixilver on for and just talking and brainstorming about like his expectations kind of what can happen when he starts streaming, and our suggestions of maybe like just brainstorming like how we did it or what we suggest and whatnot. And then, unless he doesn't like being here, I'd like to have him again in a month or two, when he actually went through that like first phase of streaming Star Citizen a little bit. I don't think you will ever like stream Star Citizen full time, because you jump around quite a few games. Like yesterday we played Marbles on your stream, and then you usually play Battlefront, and like you play different games. I'm sure you want to keep that. Well, I don't know this. I don't know actually, but yeah, what's your plan with that?
Yeah, that's so. It might seem like I'm jumping around to a bunch of games right now because
Don't
I
worry
guess I'm
about it.
trying to. I'm trying to find my place, I guess. Or because I'm usually not one to play more than one game at a time.
Same.
I like to focus on a game and then finish it. But I know that this is not a game that gets finished per se. So I think there will always be something else in there. But if I like something and it makes me double click that icon, then it'll be the main game that I'm going to be, streaming. Because No Man's Sky got me into it, and that's all I streamed for like the first 2 months. There was nothing else. It was No Man's Sky every day.
I love that feeling,
And
man.
yeah, so if that happens, then that's what's going to happen. I don't have a being that this isn't a full my full time thing. I don't really plan to go full time. It is totally a hobby, totally fun for me to do this. I don't have a schedule. I don't really have. I know that's not a good thing sometimes, but
It
could be a good
depends.
thing. But
Yeah.
It doesn't
depends.
matter if you're doing it
It
for
doesn't
fun.
matter really. Yeah, I'm doing it for
Exactly.
fun. So you want to watch me? Great. You're gonna watch me for me probably. Hopefully. I do know that there's some times where people watch for the game, obviously.
You
And they
will
like
always
the
have these. That's just normal thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
then
we
you also
talked
have
about
your community. Yeah, exactly.
we talked about this before. So
Yeah.
so yeah, if it makes me double click the icon, then it's going to be the one that I'm playing. But yeah, I think there will always be something else along with the main game at the time.
Well,
of the
that's
stream.
gonna be the interesting thing here. That's why I think this is gonna be an interesting experiment, because right now, like you like the concept of Star Citizen, and I'm curious. I'm definitely curious to see like what your opinion is going into it. You know, streaming, and then your new player experience, and then kind of like what you have to kind of say about it after you've kind of like cut your teeth a little bit, so to speak. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited for this experiment actually because yeah, like I'm curious to see what you have to say like after you come back because wait, that right? That's going to be our actual topic, so I should shut up about that.
That's okay.
But yeah,
But
I'm just curious, like, because from my perspective, anyways, like this is one thing that I've kind of noticed as a player who's been playing this game pretty actively since 2014, 2015.
he's
Like
crazy.
my experience, yeah, I am. My experience, like is going to be different than somebody who's brand new because, for example, I know where a lot of the bugs are. I know what to avoid. I know, I know my way around the solar system. I know the missions and stuff like that. And it's interesting because I find that I have in the past kind of taken that for granted when I've like introduced new people to the game, right? So like, so what I find is relatively not very frustrating most of the time
You can
for
avoid the
people I've
traps
introduced
constantly.
has
Yeah.
been just like, they've just like rage quit basically and said, I'm never playing this again.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just curious to see, like, what is it like going in fresh,
Um,
you know?
I will share my experience about Star Citizen, like in short, and then I want to know like your expectation. Because you've been around Star Citizen streams, at least in my stream, and maybe Chrono, and maybe a couple more. I don't know.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah, a couple
kind
more here.
of you can feel a little bit of the community already. So for me, I will be bluntly honest here. Star Citizen is definitely a game that I would be passionate about, just the way you are, Quix, where I would back the project and every now and then get in, play a couple of hours, go play my other games, and then come back when something new happens.
Mhm.
What I got, someone asked me today, like, how often do you play in the game? I was talking to someone in game in global chat, and I said I play this game almost every day for the past year and almost year and a half. And they were like, "You are crazy." And I thought to myself, I don't even see it as a job. It just, there's something, and I talked to Salty Mike about this as well. There's so there's different things. There's the games you enjoy playing, and then there's games that you enjoy streaming, and then there it can happen rarely. There's a game you like playing and streaming at the same time. It's just a different experience. And for me, Star Citizen as an end project one day will probably be the only game, like you said. I love MMOs. I love being stuck in one and starting to feel like I'm part of it, of that community, everything that the game gives. Right now, that's not like Star Citizen right now is not something I could see like that because it just lacks meat. It's not there yet.
Yeah.
However, streaming it and getting it every day, having a couple of people to talk to me about like differences, or oh, have you seen this? Or hey, this streamer did that. You want to check the clip? Or hey, man, I installed this to my ship and it works better. Or and just like that whole thing about like being able to share my thought process and just show other people the game, talk to them about it. It keeps it fresh and interesting for me day in and day out. Yeah, I get pissed off with the game and all that, and I stop streaming for a day or two. But I know, 100% I know, like every other game that I stream, it's like, oh man, I want this to stick and I want to stay in streaming for a while, but it doesn't happen. And I have no doubts in my mind that Star Citizen is my game. That's where I belong now. Regardless of growth, regardless of anything, that's where I feel at home. So I wonder if you have any, like, based on what you've seen so far, I wonder if you have any like expectations of how do you think people from um so your audience, your old original audience, for example, is No Man's Sky. Do you think those people hop in and kind of enjoy it because it's space game again? There is connection because most of us try any space game.
Right. Yeah. No, and that's. Yeah, I think so, and I've noticed that even in a lot of the other games I play. Even though I don't know if you consider Battlefront a space game, but it is kind of spacey
It is
themed, right?
absolutely, yeah.
And I've noticed that a lot of my the solid followers, they'll jump in on any game I'm playing just about. So I've seen them in Elite Dangerous. I've met a few more people in Elite Dangerous because I streamed that for a little while. And I think that overall the space community is just a good community. I've seen it in No Man's Sky, in Elite Dangerous, and hopefully now in Star Citizen. Everybody is so, at least if you're playing the game, everybody is so helpful. Everybody wants to help. Unless you're that guy on Chrono's stream who just wanted to say he can fly better, there's not
There's
a
a
lot of
moron
talk.
everywhere, but yeah, that's
just a
not
troll, right?
community. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's just a troll. But it seems like everybody who comes in just really wants to. I mean, a guy in Elite Dangerous, like literally, we made a time and a date, and like he came in and spent all this time building my ship from the ground up for me to go exploring. And I almost feel bad
Amazing.
because I've only gone out and explored a couple days. I kind of want to play that again a little bit too, but I don't know what's going to happen with Star Citizen.
You should.
I,
You should play
I
both.
have I have a
Star
thing.
Star Citizen will be here when you get back.
Well, that's
Yeah.
true. And I had a feeling that I was going to like have to like choose between the two because they're so involved, right? I mean, because I was looking at Elite Dangerous and I was like, oh gosh, it's daunting, but you also only have like the ship cockpit like that. Like that's the game. Like, how am I going to like that?
And it looks like a
But then-
toaster. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But then I got in and I started playing and I was like, okay, I mean, this is pretty cool. I can see how this is fun. And I wanted to double click the icon and I was going back in and I was playing it. And, you know,
It has
I
depth,
didn't know
definitely.
it has depth. I don't know if it was going to be the correct depth for me.
Same.
But I didn't
agree.
give it long enough. I didn't give it long enough. So I still do want to play and the exploration, all that stuff. But anyway, I feel like I feel and obviously hope that a lot of my followers will still be interested in Star Citizen and just overall learning. They might have not backed it, right? But they want to know about it. So now they're going to see somebody they already have a relative relationship with playing it. So I think a lot of the space people will stick together.
That's a
and be
dangerous one that we can expand on. This will
What's that?
be what might break you as a streamer of Star Citizen. I see Maso smiling there already because people will see when you stream. You have to be so careful about this, dude. He will see you enjoy Star Citizen, and you will enjoy it, especially streaming it, because it's another thing. As you learn about the game, it's so nice to present things they're kind of, because it has a steep learning curve and all that. But it also, when you know what to show, it looks good and it makes you feel good showing it, right? And people get this idea of seeing you enjoy the game that they will enjoy the same way. And then they go and buy it, and then the first 5 times they try to play it, something goes wrong and they get pissed off. And well, at least me, I start feeling responsible for their better experience because they saw me enjoy it, you know what I mean? So this is something that nowadays I will always make sure that I say like 3 times it's alpha. Don't expect to enjoy everything. You know, all these like little things to make sure that they know what they're getting into. And if they get into it anyways, most likely they're going to enjoy it. Sorry.
Yeah, you've said that. No, you're right because you've said that to me.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, outside of I can learn games, right?
Sure.
But there's, you know, one of the things that I looked at was there wasn't a whole lot of tutorials, which there's not really in Elite Dangerous either. But so I know I just have to get past that hump, and I was like, how am I ever going to learn this Elite Dangerous? All these hotkeys and junk, and people got HOTASes and different keyboards and apps doing all this junk and voice commands. I'm like, I'm just never going to be able to play this game. And then it was like once I got in and you know figured out the buttons and stuff, it's not that bad. So I know that's just going to be a same thing with Star Citizen.
Yeah.
And once I get past all that, but I wouldn't say in my old age, but as I have gotten older and 2 kids and a full-time job and everything, you know, patience has become a virtue that has left me quite a bit. So I think that's the biggest thing that I'm going to worry about because, you know, I'm when I built this, you know, I used to build all my cars and I build all my PCs and I build this and my car, my other one is someone else is working on it for me right now, you know, like,
Gotcha. Yeah,
and it's most things I would do, but like, there's just a bunch of things I wanted done to it. And I was just like, the guy who built the turbo kit and everything, he's got it. Right. So I'm outsourcing a lot of things to lower my frustration levels. So I think if anything is going to kill me, it'll be interesting to see if that's what does. I'm trying to know that going in, that's to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
empathize with that a lot, man. Like I gotta say, like as I get older, my time has become a little bit more valuable to me.
Exactly. Yep. I think that's just kind of what it's come down to. So you can't hear it, but I got my button that's ain't anybody got time for that. So it's going to be one of those things where if something is, but I think at that point I'll be good enough to just walk away and maybe do something else like Chegg does. Like, okay,
I think that's wise. That's the best way to play Star Citizen right now, personally.
And just hop on. It can't be. It could be your main game, but it won't be your 24/7 game, right? You got to step away and just do something else or have something else on the back burner. So I think if I have that mentality,
how long do you stream per, like in one session?
I mean, it's usually at least 3-4 hours.
3 hours is just enough for you to do something in Star Citizen.
If you're new, I say so. I don't know. I mean, Chegg, the situation you're referencing here, where it took you like 3 hours to get set up for a mission, involved like jumping all over the system to buy different components. So I don't know if that really counts.
But that happens a lot on my streams. Where lately I'm streaming 3 hours of World of Warships, and then 3-4 hours of Star Citizen, and I find myself really I can't accomplish things anymore, Maso. Like I did need these 6-7 hours a day, because sometimes things just go smooth. Like today, I was playing an hour and a half, and I had so much fun with the Jericho and whole Xeno thread because it was already running, and I went in, figured out what I have to do, did both kinds of jobs that you can do and all that. Everything was smooth, right? But a lot of times, like a few days ago, I got so frustrated because after 4 hours, I did not accomplish one thing. And this, I think, is very important to prepare yourself mentally that's an option. Like that you will, and even worse, because when you're playing on your own, you just like Alt F4 and go and do something else. But if you're streaming and people are used to watching you play Star Citizen at that time, and they expect, like, let's say, okay, so here's the thing. I said, okay, tomorrow at this time, we will meet up in my stream, and we're going to kill the Idris Mas. And 4 hours later, we couldn't get the fucking Idris. And it was me and 5 other guys. And I feel responsible for their expectation, their time, and all that. So what I'm saying, it's normal, and I would say like probably 8 out of 10 times, 3 hours will be enough for you to do something meaningful in Star Citizen, which is very rewarding. It feels good. You always feel like you've accomplished something. It's good. It does give you that feedback. But those 2 or 3 out of 10 times, you will leave frustrated, which might reflect. It reflects on my life. Like after the stream, I feel like crap, and I know that's a thing. Now, there's a problem with me as well. I am a really awkward person when it comes to that and emotional and all that. But I think it's very important for a new person who jumps into Star Citizen to have that in their mind, so it doesn't bring you down, if that makes sense.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
I'm just.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm just going in with little expectations, pretty much.
Yep.
Not. I don't want to say that, but I do want little expectations of wholesomeness, I guess, or it being an actual a game. I'm going in there to just explore, look around, and have fun when I can.
Yeah,
this is so good. I cannot do that. I tried and I couldn't do it. And Chrono, for example, he's new. He's new as you are, and he got himself an arrow, and he's been low flying since like day 3 of his play. So he phones in PO, goes to Delamar, and for 8 to 12 hours a day, he's low flying, and he loves it. It's like, which is like he just flies around and enjoys the game, and for him, 30k doesn't matter. Clunky server doesn't matter. Oh, if he explodes, he just spawns again. It takes 2 minutes to get there and fly again. So if you can find something like that, and people love this, holy crap, he's gaining traction. I'm so happy. And people love, like, so you know what's the most asked for, not like directly but indirectly asked for content of Star Citizen? Screenshots.
Yeah.
So if you want to be like, there's people who do photography, because Star Citizen gives you tools with like FOV and like a bunch of stuff
Okay,
to
cool.
play
Yep.
with. Yeah. And there's, I saw a couple of people streaming, and I was thinking, I studied photography, I should do this. Some
Right.
people just go and for 3-4 hours, they find a nice spot, they place their ship, they play with the filters and how to set up the camera, make a good screenshot or two, post it on Discord and their Twitter, and people are enjoying their content because they can constantly talk to them. There's no so you can find that nice niche where it doesn't matter if the game crashes or anything, because you're not trying to get money to buy a ship, you're not pressuring
Right.
yourself. If you can get to that state, which I can't, that's amazing. Like that, yeah.
Write that down. No.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to say that sounds cool. I mean, I do that in No Man's Sky, and it's just a cartoon. But you know, I get in there and
I deserve that one.
no, I mean it's a beautiful game in its own way. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. It's a beautiful game.
It is.
So,
No. I have it, and I played it for like 150 hours. So I'm just joking.
Yeah, I know. But so you know, I just had to throw that one in there.
I know
as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, so I'll get in there, and sometimes on my stream, it doesn't matter where I'm at. If I see an opportunity for like a good, you know, because being in photography my whole life as well, which I didn't throw that in there, but I mean, being in photography my whole life and videography pretty much,
yeah,
might as well be right there with photography in some sort of way. I've got that eye that if I see something I want a picture.
Yes.
And the photo mode, the photo mode's pretty cool too. In there, they've got depth of field and angle of lens and filters and all kinds of stuff that they can do too. Which, if you've played that long, hopefully you know about that as well. So yeah, I can sit there and I'll look. I'm like, holy crap! I've been 10 minutes sitting here, like just getting these screenshots.
Yep.
Well,
But,
you like that aspect. It's kind of a meme now where people call Star Citizen a screenshot simulator.
Hey,
but it's good.
I can get down because that's what I want to do, though. I want to see
people wait for sunset on Microtech for a perfect, because you have this live, like, living environment of planets moving around, and they know like where the skies are pinkish, like where the mist becomes blue at certain time of the night, and like they wait for this perfect moment, and their community is there and watches it, and then they use their screenshot as a wallpaper, and this is very calm. I am kind of jealous of this, not gonna lie. It's really nice because they can deliver the expectation like 10 out of 10 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's nothing saying that you can't, like for me, I don't know, like I haven't streamed Star Citizen in a while, but when I did, I do all sort, like I wasn't doing the same thing the entire stream, you know, like I'd start out doing, you know, bounties or something like that to test out whether or not the server is stable, and then I might go run some cargo for a bit because I like flying big ships, you know, and then I might go do some low flying if I get frustrated or bored of that, right? So I don't know, like I think it's fine. Go play some game loops for a little while. If it gets frustrating, go try to find pretty stuff somewhere. I think that's something that's totally viable to do, is, you know, in the game.
Yeah. That's what
that'll keep you from being super frustrated for sure. Just give up on the stuff that's frustrating you and go do something else.
Yeah,
nothing will save you from frustration.
Well, there's
sorry.
a degree of that for sure. You're going to be frustrated at some point in this game, but yeah,
we'll feel proud about living through that frustration, though.
Yeah, there you go. Now it's funny you mentioned the screenshot of using it as a background, but you probably won't be able to see it too good on my camera. But that is
that No Man's Sky?
That's a No Man's Sky.
That looks so good, dude.
It didn't even show. I don't even know if the planet in the background came up, but there's actually like a planet.
I can see it because I can see it because I have you on my whole other screen, like your full screen.
Yeah. So there's like a planet right in the center there. So I mean, I can totally see how that would work because I love looking at all the screenshots.
You can actually have a team. Oh my god, my brain. You can have someone with a Carrack and Pisces. Listen to this, Maso. And they're going and like making, so he flies with someone in Carrack, and then when there's a good opportunity, he flies down to the planet with the Pisces and takes shots, and then goes back to the orbit. And they pick him up.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, that's amazing.
But I'm looking for. I see you stream it, and I'm watching you go through space, and I'm like, dang, that's detailed. Obviously, I know it's so detailed, right? It's such a good looking game.
Yeah,
and I was like, I want to play that, but when I play it, I wanted to have like graphics. I didn't want to turn the graphics down. I guess that was my thing.
Totally, it's a beautiful game, and you're missing something.
Beautiful, exactly. So now I have no excuses. So, and it's actually a playable alpha for the most part. I could leave my hangar, and
Oh, 100%.
I caught one of the guys got me into streaming. Bruce Cooper, you probably don't know, but he's a No Man's Sky streamer. But anyway, he played Star City because so I'm following him, right? Whatever he plays, I'm looking at his stream, and he jumped into Star Citizen, obviously because he's a space fan as well. And I saw him like getting out of his ship and like running around, and I was like, at that point, I didn't even know you could do that, right? So that's how out of it I've been. And he was walking around. There's people walking around with guns, and
Yep.
they're flying through these planets and all the trees, and I'm like, wow, this has come a whole long way. I was like, I need to play this
I'll
game
give you
now.
even more. This specialist Maso did not get to experience it because he tried, but it didn't work out. But so here's my session today. I went in because we didn't try Xenothreat because whatever, it just came out, and I wanted to have an idea about it because I didn't play the test server. So I went in and it was already happening. So I jumped from Port Olisar to Microtech, get the mission. I fly to Jericho Station, which is a base of operation. Doesn't matter, you don't know these names or anything, but it will make sense. It's the base of operation where they're repairing this biggest ship in the game, which you can see in the kind of dock, whatever. I opened the general chat, global chat, which I never use, and people are asking. So the first question I saw is, "Hey, the white Valkyrie, which type of cans are you carrying?" And they explain which, because there's 3 different types of cans that you need. And I figured out, holy shit, wait, there's no threat, so these people are collecting boxes. So I docked, took my Asp Explorer, which is a space pickup truck here, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna go there and help them pick up stuff and then get into my Saber again. So I went there. While I was like, there was 10 ships protecting and gathering boxes from wrecked starfarers in this gas cloud, and this NPC keeps telling us what she needs more and what not. And then as we are bringing it back, and groups started forming, it's like a full MMO experience. Groups start forming of like 3 different ships. They're actually doing this gathering. I figured out, okay, with my small ship with cargo, I'm not really useful that much, and they're coordinated. I went back, pick up my Saber, which is a fighter. By the time I was picking up my Saber, this chick goes crazy. Oh no, there's an Idris coming, attacking the Javelin. Where are you going? Come back. I fly back. There's like 10 people fighting a ship together, players. So I helped them fight the ship, and then I went back and helped guys continue doing the operation of bringing stuff. And then we went back and killed another Idris, and this all happened in an hour and a half. Like, I was like, holy shit. This was the first time they did it. Community was there. There was one guy asking, can I help you with Aurora? And they were like, sure, anything helps. Then we bought him. I gave him the money. He actually bought Cutlass Black. He came with Cutlass Black, the happiest guy. Like, all this in 1 hour, man, an hour and a half. I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually playing without stream and having so much fun. So you can feel how the gameplay is coming. Slowly, but it's coming. So yeah.
Yeah, see, and I was actually gonna say, like, when we did the like what did we do in game, that like I did get a little bit of that experience. Like I ran into some bugs that prevented me from like really staying and enjoying for a lot of it. But like even just showing up, like getting into the server, the mission starts, and this is something that up until this point I haven't really seen. And there's like the entire global chat is alive with like, we need this ship.
Yep.
We're moving this boxes, put these color boxes. Because you just to give you the backstory, I'm not sure if you've heard anything about it. Quixilver, basically, like they're trying to resupply this Javelin destroyer to be able to combat these big terrorist frigates that are coming in, basically, like, and but their resupply convoy got ambushed and destroyed to the Jericho station, which is where they're doing the refit on this destroyer. So basically your mission to start out anyways is to go to these wrecked this wrecked supply convoy, clear out the pirates that are there. There's also like pirates on foot inside the wreck, so you got to go through and like kind of like clear them out with guns and stuff too. and then you got to kind of like load these different supplies onto ships and haul them back to the Javelin destroyer to restock it. But the different supplies are like they're color coded for ease of gameplay, but like like they have to be handled differently because they're volatile in some cases. Like
It
for
tells you some
example,
will explode. There's
yeah.
quantanium as well and whatnot.
So like there's one, for example, that you can't use your quantum drive, your fast drive with, or they'll explode in your ship. So you have to like fly them back under
Yeah.
conventional drives manually. So those have to go in one ship, that's going to do that run. And these other ones are sensitive to damage, so you have to, like, when you're loading them up, you have to be real careful with them. And you also have to make sure that like you have your fighters out there screening that ship from damage, or kaboom and everybody dies. But yeah, like I got to, it sounds stupid because this is supposed to be an MMO, but up until this point there hasn't really been a reason for people to get together and actually communicate and coordinate and stuff like that as a large group. It's been mostly like, if you want to play as a group, it's been mostly like make your own fun kind of
Exactly.
a thing.
Very
So,
sandbox.
and
I did not believe they can do this, man. I did not believe they will have I wasn't sure if they had it in them at this stage to do it without holding players' hands too much. And I was mind blown today. The whole server communicating, helping, explaining to new players what's happening. Holy crap.
And occasionally some of those players coming in and being like, I'm gonna fuck these guys up, like
that's another thing.
So
Yeah, they're pirates.
enemy players jumping in, trying to interrupt the cargo loading procedure and stuff like that, and your combat air patrol having to be out there and intercepting them before they get in and can do damage to the people that are hauling cargo. And it was really cool. Like, even though I ran into the bugs and it was frustrating because like I ended up basically not being able to play that mission. Like what I did experience was cool, and it was definitely something that I haven't experienced previous. And to be clear, it's still rough. Like there's still bugs. It still doesn't always run as fluidly as Chegg experienced today. But it's
For
cool
me, it
to
was
see
good
that.
today,
Yeah, it's cool to see it developing that way, right? It gives you a little bit of an idea on like what else we could be seeing as the game kind of progresses, and hopefully more this year. I mean, they did an interview with Tony Zurovic, who's the head of the Persistent Universe team and stuff like that, and he was saying that they have like 6 or 7 more of these events planned for this year. So yeah,
Cool.
it's really encouraging. I was actually, even though, like I said, even though it was frustrating and I ran into some bugs, I think it'll be really cool to see some more of these styles of events come in.
But there's gonna be, this is time gated. Like, we have the first phase on.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be more only for this event as well.
That's cool. I have a question.
Go
being
for
a new
it.
guy, right? So obviously, I wanted to get to this podcast, and then I'm pretty much start playing. So, as a new player, and I know you've shown me over to your YouTube, Chegg, which I'm probably gonna go do as well, a little bit more on what to do. I have a question as far as going out and doing things, and what happens if you just you said persistent universe. If let's say I go out, I was able to, through Chegg's advice, find my starship, get into my starship, and then get out into space, right? But then I didn't know what to do, or how to do anything, or go do a quest, or do anything, right? I didn't know anything. If I just logged off right then, and what happens when I come back? Am I in space, or do I have to start all over again?
You kind of have to start all over again, depending on if your ship has a bed in it. Because if you log out in your bed, then you should, in theory, log right back into it. However, in the current build, I would recommend not doing that, because what happened to me the last 2 times I tried that is I got basically an infinite loading screen error with no workaround.
And there's more after that. So first of all, chances are, if you load back in, if you logged off in the bed, you should spawn exactly where you were, or nearby. If you're like in a major hub or something that you might spawn and explode someone, then the game will like slightly move you around, and this works 3 out of 10 times. Like, it happens. However, what happens usually is, if you log off in the bed, you get the endless loading screen, then you log in, you might be in the middle of the Stanton, which is the sun, where you have to jump back somewhere. And then after that, if you try to spawn that ship again, it might be lost, where you have to reset your account on the web page and all that.
So in previous patches, logging off in the bed has been like semi-reliable, but I would say don't do that. Don't do that right now. So ideally, what I would do if I were you is when you get out of your hangar and stuff like that, go touch down at a space station, like the nearest orbital space station, because that saves your space, saves your
each planet has a major city that will spawn you in a hotel. Then you have to go walk about a little bit, get an elevator, get shuttle, walk more, spawn your ship, get to the hangar, take off, and then you have to go out of the city, because when you're on the planet, you need to fly 10 kilometers. It used to be 100, and then you're free to go. If you die at that point, you have to do all this thing again.
Yeah.
If you are, but every major planet has an orbital station, and that one, you wake up, you go to the elevator, and you spawn your ship, and you're in space, so you can immediately jump and do whatever you want. And this is something that everyone should, like, you will have to go to the city every now and then because there's a quest or something like that, or you have a delivery, or it doesn't matter. Whenever you touch down, whenever you request permission to land and you touch down, regardless if it's a city or a station, that's your spawn point. So whenever you go to the city, make sure you go to the orbital station, touch down. You don't have to get out of your ship or anything. Call them, can I land? Here's your landing spot. You touch down, successful landing, take off, go. You're fine, because next time you're going to spawn there, and it's like 1 minute to get back into your ship, which is really important.
So if you disconnected or something like that, or died on a mission or whatever, instead of spawning back in that city where you've got a like 10-minute run to get back to your space, to get back to your ship, you spawn in that station and it's like 3 minutes and you're airborne again.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
And this is the tedious part that I was telling you about like 3 hours being just enough, because unless you're doing something that you don't have a goal really, like low flying or taking nice screenshots or something like that, then you have to start and finish whatever you're doing before you end your session, and then you have to restart every time the game crashes or whatever. So that part of the game is really rough, especially as a streamer. And there is something, so we kind of will slowly ease into but you can ask questions at any given time, but this is something that I want to touch, because something happened with the new patch where before, if we get 30k, that's when server crashes and everyone on that server gets kicked out, and then you have to log into another server and start over. So if you're on a mission, you lose cargo, you lose mission, you lose everything, you have to start over. In this patch, multiple times, to me and Chrono, what happened is we would get 30k and it would take about 15 to 20 minutes. You know that it's 30k because the doors are not opening anymore, the controls are not responsive, you can fly into the planet, your ship will not explode. So it's like, it's 30k, like there's no doubt you will get this experience. You can fly your ship perfectly fine, but any interaction does not work. You can't open cockpit, you can't, like, right? There's no response. And then the first time we figured out, it first happened to me before this patch even, when I was in that limbo state for 15 minutes, and then everyone left the server. We were all waiting for it to recover, maybe for the first time ever, and it didn't. Well, we don't know. We left. And then Chrono, because he's low flying, for him this is a paradise situation, because he can fly low, and if he touches the ground, he can continue. And he was like, I want this to be a mod so that I can learn, without like respawning every time. And then he was like, this is amazing. And 20 minutes later, he's like, explodes. And we were like, wait, what? And there's like, he's silent, staring at the camera. I'm like staring at his stream, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm waiting for the game to kick him out. Nope, he spawned back in PO. Spawned another ship, went on Maso. I was like, what the hell happened?
This is unheard of for us. Like, usually if the server goes down, like you said, you get that moment of limbo, but it never comes back. So this is the first time with this patch, we've ever witnessed it recover from a disconnect.
What I have a problem with is they never mentioned this is a possibility now, which they should be transparent with this. I guess
I mean, I assume it's not a complete fluke.
it happened more than once, or to him and me. Other people just leave when it's 30K.
Yeah.
And now if
Usually.
you wait, it seems like it recovers. And it's kind of funny because Paul Shelley mentioned this like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, 30K
You remember?
recovery.
Recovery, yeah. And I was like,
it,
what the hell is this guy talking about? Like, come on, man. And I was like, if we get that, that's okay. Because then that means like if you are doing a mission or doing a cargo or whatever, and yeah, it's 20 minutes break, whatever I don't care. I'm going to talk to my chat, go make a coffee, buy a break, come back. I can continue with what I've started. Holy shit, I'm getting goosebumps. Like that's how that's great. That's this game, man. Like imagine not worrying about 30K. I play SnowRunner and my game crashed a few weeks ago. And I was in the middle of like lifting some truck from the mud or whatever. And I'm like, oh, in my mind, because I play Star Citizen so much, I was like, oh man, I have to get the truck again, drive all over to the next map. And I logged into the game, and there's my truck the way I left it, holding the winch there and all that. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's not Star Citizen. I can just continue. Like, my brain is so fucked because of how Star Citizen works. It's crazy, dude.
No, that's good. That's good to know, though, because if I'm as a new player, I can keep that in there instead of just logging out and leaving everything and punching my computer screen.
Yeah,
I can maybe take a break and
just wait, and then sometimes the game kicks you out. That's it. It's a 30K. There's nothing you can do. But if it doesn't, and you are doing something, sometimes you don't care. Like you just finished the cargo run. It's there. Whatever the fuck. I'll just log onto our server and continue. But if I'm in the middle of something, I'll gladly wait. If there's like 500,000 in my cargo, I'm gonna wait.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, and directed at Quixilver is that like I think that probably the most frustration you'll deal with in this game is those like random server disconnects and stuff like that. Because like you said, I mean, if you're in the middle of a mission where you had to like touch down at 3 different outposts, pick up a package and deliver it somewhere, and you've spent the time figuring out where all 3 of those outposts are, you've landed, you've got your cargo on board, you're headed to your like your final destination, and you disconnect. Like there is very few things in this game that are as demoralizing as that.
You know what's even worse? You can pick up 3. All right. You can pick up 3, and then you have 3 different locations to deliver them. You deliver 2, and you're flying to your final destination, and the game crashes. And everything you did was in vain because you get paid at the last one.
Yeah. I think I would almost have to stream the game at that point because at least I would feel like I got something out of it.
This is exactly what it is, because then it's an event that happened to you. People might laugh about it or feel you. I mean, I've lost millions in Caterpillar, and then I would be pissed, but people would be like,
"This is okay." And this is what we're talking about here. Isn't the delivery missions we're talking about? What we're talking about is when you've spent your own money loading up a large cargo ship with commodities to trade, and then you disconnect, and all of that money. That hard-earned cash that you earned is gone.
Oh my god! And you have to start from scratch. It's like,
and you have to start from scratch. When I'm not streaming it, those are moments where I'm just like Alt F4. I'm out. Like
it's so because the way trading works, over $1 million. You get about 10%, like at best. So that means if you want to make 500,000 in game, and to put it in perspective, like the Aurora, the starter ship is about 200,000. And something better like maybe Cutlass Black or Freelancer are like 1.34 million. Okay, so to fill up a Caterpillar with cargo with titanium, it costs, prices fluctuate, right? But it costs about 400,000 Alpha UEC, and you can sell it for just a bit under 500,000 Alpha UEC. But so this means that you've invested, and this is like the best profit that you can have roughly. Percentage wise. So So you've invested 400 to get 100, but if the game crashes, you've lost 400.
You lost 4.
To make that 400, you need to have another 400 back in your deposit, and
Right.
for game not to crash for the next 4 times.
Right.
Yeah,
And you're
next
back to
4
zero,
runs,
which
to be
is
able to, yeah.
oh my god! And it takes long time. Like one run is like 40 minutes or whatever. You know what I mean? Like depending how good the pilot you are in your route.
Listen, I can't wait to play this game. It's kind of better and better as we go on. Yeah, no.
Use predictions, dude. Use predictions. Like I do that now with warships and this as well. If I'm doing cargo running, like prediction in the chat if I'm gonna make it or not. And then at least someone is happy if I don't make it.
Is it an actual command, or is it just something you guys say?
No, that every Twitch channel has it. You type / prediction, and then you can set up the answers, and they use their points, your channel points, and predict. It's really cool.
Yeah, that'll be a little bit more interaction. But yeah, I mean, so that makes sense to actually only, for me at least, to only stream the game, because at least if I could be talking to somebody, or they get some kind of enjoyment out of it, or I get somebody who is interested in the channel or whatever, that's building my community, then
yes,
at least I feel like I did something while I was doing it. And
100%. This is
so that
I was talking about this on Salty Mics. You remember, Maso, where this was exactly what I felt so bad because I plugged myself as a streamer, blah blah blah. But this was my point, where people don't understand how can some of us play the game so much, and that's because we get something extra out of it. It's like not even like monetary or whatever. It's like there's a feedback to the bad event, right, that happens. While if you're just playing on your own and you lose like that, oh my, there's nothing good coming out of that.
What about it? Yeah. At least you can vent to your people, maybe, or something. Yeah.
And then eventually you learn to laugh about it. Yeah.
Yep.
But
exactly.
I think that like we're pretty much like into that then, hey, like our topic for today was going to be like, is Star Citizen new backer friendly or not?
Let's get to it. And I have more to expand on this. But what do you wait? Have you actually played a bit lately, or your experience, Quix, is from like 2014 basically, and watching us play?
So literally all I did was, but this was on the old system, was watch your video and get into space, and I went in my bed and logged off. So that was it.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what else to do when I got. I didn't know. What do I do now? Do I go mine? Do I go to a space station? Do I land on a planet? Like, I didn't know what to do, and I wasn't at that point where I'm like, okay, so now I got to go Google videos on what to do or whatever, and I wasn't at that point yet. I was like, let me just build my computer and I'll play it then.
And you're right, and this is the first point. How much do we need a tutorial that can even be in Arena Commander? What do you think about that, Maso?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, one of the things I tell everybody who first logs in is don't try to learn how to like move around in your ship like that. Don't go into the persistent universe first. Go into Arena Commander and go into a free flight mode, and then like figure out your controls and stuff like that in there, because it doesn't matter if you die. You don't have to like find your way back to your ship and stuff like that. It lets you just get the feel for how the ship moves, like what the commands are to do different things. Like I think that is the place to start, and that's something that isn't part of the new player experience because nobody tells you that.
I never thought about this.
Yeah,
that actually makes a lot of sense, because you even have like little pads there to land in a free flight. Like you can actually land, take off, get out of the ship, and all that.
Oh, okay, for sure. Yeah, that would be. And does it tell you how to fly or anything?
It tells you
nothing. Okay. It tells you nothing. It's just like it's just a small-ish kind of space map where you can where you log in, you're in your cockpit, and
there's no like time waste to get to your ship and back, because that gets frustrating as fuck.
You don't have to do all that and then get out of the. Because I mean, to get to your finding your ship was like, if you didn't have the video tutorial, I was like, where the heck do I go?
Exactly.
Find my ship. You're recalling it, and then you've got to fly out in a specific.
Do you know why I made that video?
for people like me?
When I started playing, the only option to start was in Area 18 because there was an event, so I don't know, like something like I don't know, whatever.
Okay.
And I logged into the game for the first time. It took me. I didn't want to use any videos, anything. I just wanted to do it on my own. It took me 2 hours to not find my ship, get pissed off. Alt F4. Tomorrow I tried again. I found my ship. Like the whole like spawning of the ship and everything. Found hangar. Died trying to make it to the ship of suffocation because I've changed helmet to something that doesn't have like whatever. Like there's these helmets that only cover your eyes. I don't know why we have them in the game, but whatever. So then I had to run all the way back. I just didn't have it in me. Alt F4. Then the next time I get to the hangar, make sure I have a proper helmet. I figured that out. Why even though you shouldn't suffocate in the hangar. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but
there was
it
a
happened.
bug.
Yeah.
That's a bug.
I get into my little Aurora, figure out how to power it on. It's a big hangar for a small Aurora. I was flying around that hangar like crazy. I had no clue how to open the fucking hangar because why would it ever cross my mind to go into chat to friends and talk to ATC? It makes no sense in the world. And then I didn't play for next 5 days. And then the person who actually brought me into the game came there, picked me up in Andromeda, took me to Port Olisar, spawned their Kruger, and let me fly for the first time. And then I fell in love with the game. So this is the reason. My experience is brutal, and I was stubborn enough. I was like, I'm going to figure it out. If I can play Eve, I can play this. And I was wrong. I was fucking wrong.
Oh, yeah, I played Eve too. Yeah.
Yeah.
About that one.
So that was, I know that feeling. It's so frustrating. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like I didn't, and see, this is the thing, like when I started playing, I didn't have to deal with any of this. So I got to ease into it this entire time, right? So like my new player experience isn't really a new player experience because, you know, when I was playing, there was Arena Commander and the Hangar module. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, so I got, you know, there was no option to go to the Persistent Universe. Arena Commander was the only place you went. So of course I chose Free Flight for my first option to figure out my controls and and stuff like that. And by the way, side note, especially as a streamer, start in Free Flight first, just so that you can get all the like boring menu stuff, like figuring out what controls, what keys do what and stuff like that. You can figure that out in Free Flight off stream. So that you're not spending your first like half hour of your stream in a keybinds menu,
which you will still have to deal with,
probably,
but at least the basic stuff.
Yeah.
But well, on stream, Maso people usually know. Like today, that guy bought the Cutlass Black, and he was like, "I can't steer this ship," and I was like, "Yeah, just press K," and you know. So there's that. Because do you really know what VTOL does on which ship and how it works? And
no,
I don't know.
And that is something to be said about the new player experience as well. Like if you go into the keybinds menu,
holy shit,
you won't know what half these things are. Like, you know, increased speed relative, increased speed limiter absolute. Like what's the difference? There's no tooltips. They don't tell you, you know, like how important is that? Should you have that bound to a key that's easily accessible? Should, you know, like what is decoy versus noise generator? What, you know, like there's no tooltips in the control scheme. So like as a new player trying to figure out your controls, if you're just looking at the menu, is it's opaque. It's ridiculous. But again, like for me, you know, like my new player experience was
you are not the new player because you were invested into the game so much already. Then as new things came out, you were that's being fed that information, right? So
this is why my new player experience was different than yours, because I was a new player at the time, but it was much more forgiving. So like I was a new player in Free Flight where I'd just be able, okay, well, I don't know what this button does, so I'll just go press this button and see what it does, and then, you know, and then if it does something I You know, like it's something. It was a much more forgiving
Holy
environment, and you were funneled into that because it was the only thing really that was there. Um,
Listen
so
to
this
this,
is
bro. You pressed the wrong button as a new player in PO. Hit the fucking turret. End up in the jail where you
yeah.
can't even get out of, even if you do things properly.
Well,
That's your new
and
player experience. Holy shit, dude.
frankly, no, it's not even your new player experience because you don't start on Port
I
Olisar
know,
anymore, and
but
that
you
was
can
the
like
other thing.
smash into
Like,
someone flying out of Tisa spaceport, and you have the same
yeah,
thing, right?
that's true. Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
like even then, like my new player experience in the persistent universe was more forgiving as well because in my opinion, spawning at Port Olisar, spawning on an orbital
that should
station,
always be an
and
option for a new player. Fuck that.
it should be like you shouldn't be spawning in the cities. Like it's ridiculous. Like I mean you said right there, right? Like your new player experience without watching any YouTube videos was 2 hours wandering around a city and not
I
finding
hate Area 18.
Mhm.
finding where you're supposed to go, right? When
Yeah,
I started in the persistent universe, you started in a station where it was like very small, like it funnels you right to the screens where you summon your ship. It spawns on a landing pad outside. You don't have to bother with ATC to open any hangar doors. It's just sitting in open space.
and you
Uh,
see
you
other
know,
ships coming and leaving because it's a
totally.
very important hub. And this
And
is
it's
something I would
forgiving for
say,
flight as well
Quixilver,
because you can
yeah,
you can just take off and you're in space. So,
Mhm.
immediately
like
can
there's
jump, you
no
can do whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
There's
that's the
nice
launch
moons
right.
around. You should actually make Port Olisar your home probably as soon as you can.
yeah.
I mean, I
We
can help you
used
with
to be
that and
able
all
to
that, but
spawn them. It was an option to spawn there, but
they just
but
removed
for
it
some
recently.
reason,
I don't know why.
oh, I know exactly why.
Blinds?
It's because they spent all this time building out these cities and these fantastically immersive, environments and stuff like that.
An
And they want
NPC standing
people
on the chairs?
NPCs standing on chairs. Yeah, they want people to experience them, so they force them down there, and it is one of the worst decisions they've
It's
ever
really
made.
bad.
Or all of them standing at attention in one room waiting for
Yep.
you to
Yeah,
come out. Check.
yep.
Yep. Okay, so what ship do you have, Quix? 300,
Well,
if I'm not wrong.
no. Remember you told me to trade it in.
Oh, but that was
Uh,
your ship, right? You had 300
yeah,
there.
yeah. I bought the 300. That was my pledge ship, and then I traded it in for what, the Mustang and the Rock.
Yeah, because you were yeah. Okay.
Is that what it is?
So
Yeah.
now you have a Mustang. So you could have Mustang or the Aurora, it doesn't matter. And that's the starter option. And this is my biggest issue with the game. So I believe 90% of new players will start with one of these two ships. And these two ships are horrible experience, especially Aurora. Especially Aurora, because most of the content creators will tell you to go with that option because it allows you to do the delivery missions, which are the best. Like, ideally, they are the best thing to do, which I agree with when they work properly, where you go around, pick up boxes, learn to fly, deliver boxes, you get the markers, it's like easy to do.
Yeah,
If
teaches you
you,
how to navigate, teaches you how to fly.
yeah, if you didn't have to put 3 boxes in the smallest space possible in the Aurora, one on top of the other, and while you're flying, the box can fall through the ship because reasons, and then you can't complete your mission, and you don't know what the fuck happened because you're a new player.
I could see that being frustrating.
So
Yeah, well,
they need to rework these ships, man. Like, I don't even know what the hell. Like, there's and the worst part is Mustangs are reworked already, right? Like, this is a new Mustang.
yeah,
Yeah, and to go along with that, I mean, obviously there's gonna be things that you can do, but if they really want people to, I mean, I guess you have to. I don't know. I guess you have to back the game, right? You have to buy something to even get in and play the game, right? But so they already got your money, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole spawning in the city. I mean, how hard is it to at least just put maybe some text on the screen?
There was a
Kinda
tutorial,
like tell
right?
you where to go and like where to get your ship and how to get your ship or something at least.
yeah.
There was a tutorial. Tell me, Maso, that I'm right, because I've heard this somewhere else. that they removed from the game.
Yeah, but that was before. That was even before we really had much in the persistent universe beyond Port Olisar.
They need a tutorial.
Yeah, it was
They
bad
need
though.
a
Like
tutorial.
this wasn't a good tutorial. It was
Oh,
just as bad of a new experience, a new player experience as this, but just for different reasons. Like they spawn you basically the tutorial that they used to have was kind of more military focused. So basically you had a drill sergeant type character who was kind of like telling you to go get into your cockpit, and they spawn you in the Gladius in a very, very tight asteroid hangar. You're not directly lined up with the hangar doors above you, so you have to maneuver till you're lined up with the hangar door after your drill sergeant has already left and is yelling at you to get out there. And this is also at the time where there was no proximity assist or anything like that on your thrusters, so it's basically you're in one of the most maneuverable fighters in the game, potentially playing with a keyboard where the only options for your vertical and where your vertical and lateral thrust is like on or off at 100%.
Yep.
So they spawn you in this tight hangar where pushing space for longer than a second rams you into the ceiling and you explode.
Okay, it was not a
and
good
then
tutorial. Okay.
no, and then you
Okay.
get, if you manage to get out of there by some fucking miracle, then again, like you've just got this drill sergeant yelling obscenities at you for not performing, these like what for a new player would be incredibly advanced flight maneuvers and then combat drills and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it was not a tutorial.
Do you think
It was.
you saw how the new mission prompt for the Jericho, where this new screen shows up and then this girl is telling you what to do? Do you think they might use that to make a tutorial now? Because that could work.
Could, but the problem with doing the tutorials up is that when things are so in flux, there's not really.
I know, but you are selling it as a game already,
Yes,
kind of.
yep.
We need that. That's something I just can't.
You know what? Their best bet, honestly,
Arena Commander.
make new. No, well, either funnel people into Arena Commander, sure, and have like a basic kind of like, flight tutorial that they can easily modify if commands or the flight model changes.
But it wouldn't help because you don't get to spawn your ship, right? That's very important.
Honestly, yeah, I mean,
it's very difficult, man. It makes no sense.
But they've got mini maps coming, and I think the maps will help because that's the other thing, right? Like an FPS map, like that's the reason why it's so fucking hard to navigate Area 18 if you're new. Like, what's the first thing you reach for as a new player of any video game that's open world? It's map.
Yeah,
it's map. Where is the map?
I did as well. I was like, what the fuck? We're in 2951. We don't have GPS. You fucking kidding me?
Yeah. So that's that. I think like more so than a tutorial, I think adding a map, if they're going to make you start in a city, is going to be,
feel good to know your way around the city without a map.
Yeah. Well, when my brother started, Area 18 wasn't an option, and it was Lorville. And in Lorville, to get around, you have to pay attention to the signs.
Yeah.
If you pay attention to the signs,
yeah, it's a regular tram system. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that, but most gamers aren't used to that, right? Like the stuff that's on the walls is just decoration most of the time.
Yeah.
In most other games, but in Star Citizen, that's how you find your way around.
It's okay if you have that. It's okay, but you still would have a fucking map on your phone, or we have an software developed and whatnot. We can track targets with it and whatnot, and we don't have a way around the city. Okay.
It's just a tech shortage, but like I think like a mini map would be better than a tutorial for the most part.
Minimap with waypoints and just like a little bit of text that says, okay, here are the consoles where you can spawn your ship, and then go to this place called the elevator, go to the one that at that point you already know because you saw it on the screen, like hangar 5, right? So when you get to elevator and it says hangar 1 to 5, that's what it is, right?
I don't know if I experienced a bug there or not, if that happens, but I went to I think it was. I don't know if I just spawned at the wrong place, but I don't. I think I was in the. I think it was Stanton, right? Because that's one of the places you can spawn, right?
And then
The cities.
that
Can
is
you
the
get
sun. That's the whole system.
oh,
Probably Lorville.
city? What was the city like that actually looks like a no snow?
So there's two other cities. There's Area 18, which is like the very kind of
It's
like
red.
Blade Runnery, kind of like, you know, like holograms everywhere and stuff like that.
Not that
Red
one.
and metal.
Okay,
And then
then
there's
Lorville.
Lorville, which is like really like kind of
Industrial.
run down and dirty and industrial. And then New Babbage is all like
That's
like
the
an
small
Apple
one.
store.
I think
Yeah,
it's
that one.
Lorville, the one that you're.
Yeah, it's probably Lorville. So I first logged in there when I was doing your tutorial, Cheg, and then but the second one, I guess I didn't remember which one I clicked on, and I clicked on Babbage, and I ended up at the Snow World. I was like, okay, well I know where I need to go, so let me just try to do this with the signs and stuff. So, and I ended up getting to the hangar, and retrieving my ship, and it said hangar 5 or whatever. So I went to the elevator and I clicked level 5, and my ship was not on that level. And it still but it would show my ship or like where I had to go, like on a lower level. Like the like marker for it was like below me, but it said to go to hangar 5, and I'm on level 5 or whatever, and there's no ships around. So at that
this
point,
sounds
I
like
was
something
like,
else, to be fair, but
I mean, I don't know.
because here's what happens to me every day. Okay, if you're in a planetary station, but you didn't do this, and then it tells you pad 2, and you click on hangar 2. You go to the hangar and you're like, what? Where's my ship? And then you're like,
pads
and
hangars are different.
Pad.
It could be true. I mean, I don't know. Does New Babbage have pads?
No,
too?
no cities have pads though.
Yeah,
So,
that's the weird thing.
But
so
wait, did you go to another hangar and find it or not?
no, I alt F4'd.
Okay, so what could have happened? Here's the thing. This is the next thing that I want to talk about. This is the worst part of new player experience. I hope you did not experience it, because that might mean if this was your last session, you might have to reset your account. Which is, sometimes your ship, the only ship you have, will not spawn, and there's nothing you can do about it. There was a solution before where someone can pick you up and take you to another planet or another spawn point, and then you can spawn it there, which you're a new person in this fucking space game someone's going to just pick you up and take you to wherever you can spawn, which people would do, but that's like, that train of thoughts is like way above new player, idea. But even that doesn't work now. So for example, on my alt account, this is how I know these things. I have an account with only Aurora, and this happened to me. I've lost my Aurora, and I tried to spawn it, and that's it. I can't. And I called someone from my stream, and they were like taking me to other stations. No. Then I reset my account, and then it worked, and it happened again 2 days later. Then I bought a ship in game for in-game money on that account, which is Titan, and the same thing happened to my Titan. So I have this brand new account with 2 ships, and I can't spawn either of them. And you know what? The game did not tell me go and reset your account, because and this is happening very often. We don't even think about it, because I have so many ships on my main account. I don't care, right? I can just cycle through them. I have like 4 ships bought in game. I have usually 3, 4, 5 ships from the store, and whatever. If I lose a ship, I don't even think about it, right? But if you are a player with 1 ship and this happens, it's game over. It's game over. You can't play anymore, and you just pledge for this game.
Yeah.
And I think these bugs need to be always on top of the list, because new player is the most important player, because we're used to being patient and dealing with fucking bugs and whatever. It's okay, we know that. But if you're a new player, that's what you did is what every new player will do. Alt F4. That's it. Like you don't have time to like deal with this. The game doesn't work, obviously.
I wasn't about to like just go up and down every single hangar and like look around for my ship. Like,
yeah.
I didn't know. So what I mean is that, can I see? I thought that if I created a character or whatever on my, I mean, it's the same account. If I started in another city, does it not just shouldn't I just be presented with a screen to like continue like with that character, and I'll be in the city that I logged out in? Like, why did I pick another city and then I ended up in a different city?
Okay, so
Is
what
that how it's supposed
happened
to be?
between your 2 sessions is there was a major patch,
Okay.
and then that restarts the spawn locations.
Okay.
Otherwise, you will always log in wherever. You remember what I told you? When you touch down somewhere, that's where you will spawn. And this
Mm.
is all like this is a constant. And
Yeah.
then there's like a big patch, and then you get to choose the first city again. But
Gotcha.
this
Okay.
happens like once in 2-3 months, not like
I gotcha. So it's just a timing thing.
yeah, just
So
a timing thing.
it's not possible that my ship was at the other city.
Not
No.
after a reset like
Yeah,
that. After a reset, they reset all of your like where your ships are and stuff. But
Gotcha.
So to explain the solution to your problem, just because we touched on it and you might have it again, you go back to the elevator and go to the lobby, and then you can by the name of your ship, you can store the ship if it's there. Just click store, and then you spawn it again, and then it will tell you again the name, like the place where it is, and then you go to elevator.
well, now it's a little different though too, because they've added it so that when you spawn your ship, now instead of only telling you on your ship spawn screen that it's on Hangar 5,
True.
it'll actually show up as a waypoint on your screen, and it'll
Yep.
tell you exactly what hangar it's in.
And now it's everywhere. Like whenever you spawn your ship, there will be a name. What we say? You have Mustang. It's going to say Mustang Alpha Head 03, for example. So whenever you look, you will find the icon somewhere through the walls and everything, and you know exactly where to go.
That's what I was. I mean, I don't know if it had the name on it or not, but I had an icon.
Yeah. Before it wouldn't say pad number or whatever hangar number. It would just say like Mustang Alpha, and then you're like, and then again, you seeing it above or under. That doesn't mean that that's one hangar away. It just means it's not in that hangar.
Right, I know, and I was like, all right, well, I'm done. I'm not gonna sit here and
And
look
there's
around
like
every single
18
hangar for it.
hangars. Like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah,
And I think that's really indicative of the current new player. Well, it's one thing that's indicative of the new player experience right now is your response. You know, like you tried to figure it out, it didn't work, you got frustrated and you quit. And what's interesting is that a few months ago they released a big pile of analytics for the game, like as far as like new player accounts, how much money was raised, how much time was spent in game, how many concurrent players there were, how many active players there are, and right there, like even looking at those analytics, like while they were trying to portray them as something that was positive, and like obviously there was some positive aspects of it, like it was really, if you're looking at those numbers, it shows that people are showing up. They think this is a cool game because they've seen YouTube videos, they've seen a stream or something like that. They buy their ship, they play for a couple hours, and then they don't come back.
Yep.
Like
it's
like because
the obvious metric that they have.
Yeah, these are in the numbers that they have, and it is pretty frustrating, even from me as an experienced player, to look at those numbers and know that they have the data that says that their new players are not sticking around, and to see relatively few attempts to rectify that yet.
Yeah, and I understand it's not doable like immediately or whatever, but they should be bluntly
it's been for years,
transparent,
man.
and say this is our top priority now.
Yeah, and I don't, like, it's possible that it's a business decision, like Quixilver said, like maybe it's like, well, we got their money, like hopefully they'll be back at some point.
In Star Citizen, bro,
but
Quixilver, lock your wallet, because it feels so good to buy a new ship. It feels like buying a new car, and if you stick to the game, you're gonna buy more.
Like, that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah,
you should see my RC car collection.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's dangerous. If you have money, you can actually spend it. The good thing is, like, if you're streaming, you might get some donations for the ships and whatnot. Like, that just works like that. And the thing is, I don't know, Maso, because they want people to stay to spend more. What is $45 when they can spend $100?
Well, they're not doing a very good job of it, man.
I agree.
And like I said,
I agree.
Like these latest chunk of metrics were put out after they have a big sale in November where all the ships go available on sale, and they do like an in-game expo, which is actually kind of cool. It's like a car expo, right, where each brand has a different, like each day of the expo has a different like brand of ships. That's kind of like
check
that
takes
out on
YouTube for sure.
takes
Cool.
over the display floor, and they have like all the different models, set out in this cool kind of like convention floor and all like posed properly, and you can go inside them and
Yeah, it's
wander
literally
around.
Ship Expo. You can
You
try them
can
there, and you
you
can
can
buy them or rent them for free. Any ship that is on Expo.
so that's like their big push of the year, and it was after that push that they put out all these metrics that showed that they had like 400,000 new accounts from just that period, uh and stuff like that. But again, like their concurrent player numbers were like 30,000. Like
Yeah.
those are abhorrent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
think
shows of those 400,000 people, only 30,000 of them are still playing, and that's including the OG backers who are playing this game,
Yep.
right? So
I mean, look at me. I'm literally a backer since before you could even play the game,
Yep.
yeah,
and haven't played the game.
You know
Yeah.
what's worse? If you were not a streamer, you would try it and you would be like, okay, it is not ready yet, and that's it. Like if
I
you're
have.
being honest, right? That's it.
No, I do. Yeah, I've already done it. I've done it. I usually pop in like every year
Exactly.
or something like that. I'll install it. I'll go, oh, okay, I'm out. Or
It's such a shame because the game can offer you crazy experiences
yeah,
If
that
you
no
could
other
just
game
get
can. It's
past-
crazy.
I
if you
can't
could
believe.
just get past.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we're talking about right now, the new player experience. I can't believe with all the money that this game has raised and continues to raise, they haven't made a 20-minute step-by-step tutorial on getting you out to do something. I can't believe that it wasn't there. Yeah, because when the first time I didn't watch you or look at your video or nothing, and I'm like sleeping in my ship or sleeping in my hotel room, and I'm like, I don't even know how to get up out of the freaking bed.
Yep.
I'm like, what?
That was
I'm
my
like,
first issue. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna push W to move forward, and he's gonna get up out of the bed, and I'm like, okay,
That used to work.
that's not working.
That used to work.
Let
You
me
have to
Google how
press
to get
Y.
out of the bed.
Like,
It's
yeah.
like why? Like why do you have to push
Yeah.
Y?
Pun right there. You asked.
That's actually how I remembered it the second time, because I was like, why do I have to push Y to get up? And I'm like, okay, I got out of bed. I'm like, okay,
And then the
Yeah.
next big hurdle is how do you get out of your door?
get out of the door. Yeah, I know.
I've had more than a few people who I've introduced to
stupid.
this game who just ended up Alt F4ing because they were like, I can't get out of my room, because who
Yeah.
thinks to hold F on something? Usually it's E,
It's
right?
E. Yes, I hit E. They've got to. It's not intuitive at all.
Yeah.
Like at all. Just
And
even.
then the weird thing is too is they used to have little tooltips that would
They
pop
have
up,
it
and one of the
now.
first things that popped up in your tooltip was push this to exit the bed.
They don't have that
push-
one anymore.
And then the next one
hints.
was push F to interact with things. And those were the things that were just basically scrolling across the bottom of your screen.
Yeah.
So I don't know why those aren't there.
They
Though
are, but not exit bed. But here's the thing, Maso. Your screen immediately gets filled with random fucking information.
Random.
Talk to Eckhart Cade. This guy needs help in space. Like the fucking pop-up thing in the middle of your screen, and you're like, okay, this obviously doesn't matter right now.
Right.
Press right bracket to dismiss, whatever the fuck, So you just immediately get bombarded with like a lot of information that has nothing to do with you.
It's random. Yeah, it's random. The tooltips are there, but they're random.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you actually sat there for like 5 minutes and waited for all the random ones to scroll through on how to get your pistol that you don't even have right now.
And you can't draw because you're in an
can't draw.
Armistice,
Exactly. You finally find the one that tells you how to get out of bed, and you're like, okay,
so
cool.
bad.
And then you wait another 5 minutes to go through all of them again to find out that it does say F to interact with things, but it's like it should have been Y. Okay, once you push Y, we're gonna go to the next thing, which is F, and then why they have these random things popping up and then random tooltips. It's just terrible after this long that they can't get you to your starship.
You know what I'm gonna do, Maso? I'm gonna bring May and record her playing Star Citizen for the first time on a fresh account. And then I'm gonna send it to CAG and tell them
That'd be cool.
This is a gamer and
They
this is
know,
what
though.
she does. If they know, I've been
have
playing
to
it for a
know.
year, dude. I've been playing it for a year.
Yep.
And nothing changed.
I know. And
And
that's my
Quicks.
That's
Chris,
the thing that I'm baffled about, honestly.
I agree.
It's
I
not
agree.
it's not the money. Like, okay, 300 million to build a game this big.
I don't know. That's all fine.
Yeah, like it's gonna cost a lot more than that to finish this game.
Just
You know,
how is
and I
this not
get
the
that.
priority? That's all. Like,
Yes, that's it right there. It's that you know, like I get that a large portion of that funding has been dedicated to uh, like to
Studio.
building the systems, and I get that is obviously a higher priority
Sure.
than any new player experience. But if you're going to be kind of pushing it as a live service game, then yes, that's the thing that I don't really get. Is it seems like the new player experience is not high enough priority to
dude,
warrant.
they could like ask any
How
bigger
hard?
streamer exactly to
How
write
hard
a
is it, though?
script that they can just
Yeah.
implement this text. Anyone, Paul would do it. I would do it. Burks, Mike would fucking do it. Anyone, so they can
Yeah,
say no, but there is. Just
text.
go here. You know what I mean? It's so
It
easy.
doesn't have to be all that.
Holy
yeah, I mean,
shit!
literally just a text, and then that's what I'm saying. Just
And then
a
change it later, whatever the fuck. You know, I understand the whole idea. So they have this thing where they don't want to do things twice or 3 times or 5 times
Yeah.
if they don't have to.
Makes
But
sense.
you can no, it doesn't make sense for this.
Not for
Fucking
this.
make a fucking. They have, dude. They have sticker. You know the yellow screen stickers. They have that in the game. Like put it on the fucking
It's
armor, whatever the
mercenary.
fuck.
Well, they're spending all this money, right, to build the systems, but then it's like building the super, the football domes, right? The huge Super Bowl, and then everyone's outside waiting to get in, but nobody tells you how to get in.
True, and the thing is,
That's like, what? Why?
when the game comes out, it will have a proper tutorial. We
Sure,
know that.
sure.
But
But it
right
is not.
now, what I'm saying
And
is put a white piece of paper, whatever, like notepad, screenshot. You know what I mean? I don't care because I'm
Right,
playing an
okay,
alpha, right? I just need the information, and that's it. Who cares how shit it looks like, right? We are playing an alpha. You should
Yeah,
know
you
that
can
you're
see
buying
it's like-
into an alpha. So this tutorial is shit, but it tells you how to get their ship. That's all. That's all I'm asking for.
Because then once you're, like you said, once you're in space, you can up a little bit, right? I mean, you can push buttons until you figure your ship out.
Oh
or you
yeah,
can go to
because
the
flying
reactor.
is fun, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, absolutely, just being in a middle of a hotel room and not knowing how to get your ship is kind of crazy.
Fucking hotel room. And you know what's really disturbing is that Chris Roberts himself this year, in letter from chairman, told us, you guys have been playing you boomers, whales, whatever, they've been playing the game forever. Calm down. You don't have to spend any more money. There's new players to spend money. Help them out. Okay, so majority of your money is coming from the new players. How about you dedicate one person for 5 days and let them just make a fucking textual tutorial? That's all.
That's all it would take.
Well, honestly, and that, I guess where I'm at is like, they tried the tutorial thing. It didn't work. It was an absolute dumpster fire.
Well, let me stop you there. Quixilver, did my tutorial work on YouTube?
Yes.
I'm
I'm sorry, Maso, but case closed.
Okay, but I'm not talking about I'm talking about an actual in-game tutorial at this point. But on that note, you know what? Like, you're not far off insofar as they should have like basic
embed the YouTube video of Paul Shelley.
Well,
I don't care.
Do that too. Yeah.
We don't even need to. Like I can't remember what game it was, but it was an early access game, and literally they just had links like they were just like, this is gonna, like, it was right in the start screen, like you didn't even get into the game yet. It was like, we recommend you take the tutorial.
Here this is how you get to your ship
videos.
But the game told you to go and watch it. It's completely different. You have to search for it. You just click and there you are. Like, it's that simple.
It hyperlinked you right out of the game, to their YouTube tutorials. So that's an option. And I'm not saying don't do that. What I'm saying is, like, an actual in-game tutorial right now, I think would be a waste of resources with the amount of time it would take.
I agree. We all agree with that. I don't need a fancy, polished, Dana Scully walking by my side telling me what the fuck is happening with Xenothread and how to get into my ship, okay?
Totally.
I just need information. I don't need it, but
But
Quicks needed, or any new player.
totally. And what I'm saying is that for the in-game stuff, there is in-game stuff that they could add to the game that would make it a lot more accessible. And they just haven't. And that's the baffling thing to me, because like I said, I mean, if the only option to start as a new player was to start on Port Olisar,
That would help so much.
you'd figure your shit out way quicker than you do right now, with so much less frustration. Because even if the tooltips are broken and shit like that, like Port Olisar was so small that you couldn't help but find where to spawn your ship, and you couldn't help but find where your ship was because it was all small and there's only so many places you can go, and it puts you out into a more forgiving flight environment.
True.
That's my like tutorial videos. Even if they didn't do any tutorial videos, if they just did just that, I think the new player experience would be better. Because
I mean, I can give you another idea. Just start, instead of in the bed, start with your mobiGlas up and have a simple quest of go here. Now we have these quests with like multiple tasks, and just scratch the task. Okay, you left the door, task scratched. Find the elevator, task scratched.
Yeah.
Use a console, task scratched. Go to fucking
yeah. And that's even
that's
next level.
Man. That's
even the texting, and they might be going off the fact that people know how to like Google stuff, right? And that there's gonna be
that, dude.
And that
I know it's frustrating, but frankly, that is something that most people will tell you if you ask in the chat.
Yeah, right. That's why you made the video, right? So
yeah.
And they're probably, I'm not saying that it's an excuse or they should be doing that, because I'm absolutely 100% with the fact they need to have something there, a text screen, even that gives you steps. Even if you got to go find the elevator, push Y to do this, get out of the elevator.
Next step is the elevator. Okay, I know what to look for, you know?
Push F to hit the button, you could do that with text. You can do it.
Yeah.
Find the tram system.
Pin those notifications right to your screen until you dismiss them.
My kids are breaking in. I'm going to have to probably go here in a couple minutes.
That's okay.
So let me ask you this question, if I could. So knowing me and knowing my story and knowing where I am in the game and knowing that I can probably watch Cheg's video to get out in space, what do you think I should do then as a new player? What do you think is going to be my next best player experience at that point?
You could still do mining with an ROC. It's really interesting. But right now, the game is most enjoyable. Like, I'm not a combat pilot, but right now, the game is most enjoyable playing bounty hunting missions.
Bounty hunting, okay. So that's in. So where would I go to get those missions?
Either I would go to Port Olisar, and then you through your mobiGlas you get them in under. Actually, I have a video on this as well, but like under what is it? Bounty hunting, yeah. And so now they're done, so that you have to pay a little bit in, like 500 alpha AC, to go kill one guy, 1-on-1, very easy. And they will start giving you like really simple missions, like kill one small ship, 2 small ships, that's it, with a little bit of payout. And then it will tell you, okay, you've done enough, pay 1,000 to go and get higher targets. And there you can find your pace with your small ship, where you're, where you feel good about what's happening. You don't have to go further until you get enough money. And this will teach you how to fly, how to escape, how to explode, spawn your ship again. Like, it's jump through the system and all that. Maso, I think, has another idea.
Yeah, I would say don't even go into the persistent universe. Like I said, I'd say spend time in Arena Commander.
Sure. Okay,
because the other thing is, like, once you've got the hang of your controls and flying the ship around, go into a swarm mode.
Yes.
Play against some bots, explode a bunch, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like figure out how to fight before you're trying to do it where there's actual like time stakes on the line in the persistent universe,
I will show you this.
Get blown up,
in my stream, Arena Commander, which is an offline mode, has it has like 6 options, where one is just free flight. There's a race, which is not really a race anymore, but like there's a course where you can like fly through the gates, and it measures your time, which is really good to like slowly learn the things. It has 2 different like PvE events, where one is like much easier, the Pirate Swarm, I think,
Vandal Swarm is
oh,
easier because
Vandal,
they don't
yeah.
use ballistics.
Yeah, so Vandal's form where you have like level stages, like an arcade. You know how that works. Like literally, it's really good graphics for invaders, where you spawn and like there's a couple of enemy ships. You kill them, and they spawn the next wave. And as you're killing them, and you have several lives. If you die, you can respawn, and then at some level you get additional life. It's that simple. And then there's a more difficult one. So you could. This never crossed my mind. This actually opened up something for me when Maso said it at the beginning. I think I will send people to that, and I think I will start doing it more on my stream as well, just to show people that it can really be fun.
There's just less moving parts, and frankly, I just find that it takes so much stress out of the new player experience when you at least know how to fly and how to fight. Then it's just a question of figuring out the universe moving parts, and trying to figure out all of those at once. I think personally is overwhelming. At least that's been my experience with the new players that I've kind of like got into the game.
When it comes to PU, there's just another thing that I wish more people did, which is investigation missions. But you gotta be careful because some will send you to the cave, which is not like caves are no. Don't go to the caves, okay? Just don't go. If there's a person, like read the text, and if person was lost in a cave, just forget about that one.
I watched someone stream that.
Okay, so
it was a dumpster fire. Yeah.
So just go like any debris, recover black box, find missing crew. These missions are amazing because you're gonna get lost in a big fucking ship trying to find crew somewhere in space or on the planetary surface. You don't really, if it doesn't happen, you did not invest anything. You've seen a big ship in space. The debris are beautiful. You might end up having some FPS encounters as well with like a couple of pirates. They kill you or not, doesn't matter. But it will let you fly in space and on around the planets, like in atmosphere, and it's actually, I love that experience. I feel like a fucking detective, like flying around space and trying to figure out a case. I don't know. I really like these, and not many people are doing them.
I think I saw someone stream that. Yeah,
the
guy was
cave thing. Just on the cave thing, I don't know if your kids play Minecraft or whatever, but it's funny because when the caves first came out, everybody was saying, "Oh, it's so easy to get turned around and lost." And then I'm like, "Buddy, I played Minecraft. You're just a noob or whatever."
Fuck those caves, dude. I used flares. I used flares and I got lost. Like, come on. 3 hours and I'm like, where the fuck do I go?
Yeah, the dude got lost. Yeah,
it's so tricky to find your way around in there. Even though that they do this thing where like they kind of color code things. Like if you see yellow lichen growing on a rock, it's like the path kind of a thing. But even then,
it's a pet somewhere, though.
It was funny because I was ragging on people so hard about basically being noobs, not knowing how to navigate underground. Like, it's genuinely difficult. The terrain is,
from what I saw. Yeah, it's funny. Oh, it was just to go back to that. I was when I was streaming, or when he was streaming that, and he was about to go in the cave. I guess he brought his gun out, and he went to bring his gun out, but it wasn't working, and you could hear him, like you could hear the button through his mic.
Yep.
Why isn't my gun coming out? And I said, I texted something. I said, just push it really fast and really hard, or like push it faster and harder, because he was already like pushing it hard and fast, and he did it, and then it worked.
Oh,
and then the gun came out. So it was hilarious. But then it was like see-through or something, so it was already bugged. Like the gun was like his hands weren't there, and you could see the inside of the gun, so it was bugged anyway.
Yeah, FPS weapons are.
And then he got lost in the cave, and it was just it was funny. But he streams Star Citizen too. I think Katana John or whatever. I think you might have seen him.
I think I follow Katana.
Okay, so anyway,
probably you told me. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so I'm sure he'll be around to help too. But yeah, I'm probably gonna have to leave here in a couple minutes. So I don't know if you guys want to ask me anything else, or if there's something.
I just hope that you had some fun with us, and if you're down, if you start streaming, I'm not gonna push you for this, but it's an open invitation for the next time. Because I don't know if you're gonna start streaming soon or not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whenever you start doing it and you have some experience, yeah.
No. How about this? Wait, with all this conversation about new player experience in mind, go into the game when you do end up kind of streaming it, get a few hours in, form an opinion, and then come back and do a hot take.
Yeah,
Well, that'd be
that'll
cool,
work.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But I
fine.
want to
Yeah,
have
no,
you
I'm
back after you did it because we're gonna have a completely different conversation then.
yeah, absolutely.
And I want to
Because then
hear.
I'll
I want to hear your take on it. That's gonna be the
sure.
best for me.
Yeah, yep. So yeah, for sure. I'll probably tonight I might just do, like you said, like the arena commander just by myself maybe, and just kind of get used to some of that stuff, or maybe I'll click go live. Who knows? Because that's kind of fun sometimes just to watch the dumpster fire, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I plan to play it tonight, I guess, because now that I got this out of the way, I feel like I can play it.
Oh, you're gonna stream
So
it tonight or just play it?
I don't know. Guess wait for the notification.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll be there if you're streaming it. Like, I'm gonna stay longer today because I have to deal with all the stuff about podcast anyways,
I
and I'll
might.
be more...
I might because I feel like actually the only time I get to stream is the only time I also get to play video games. So it
Makes
kind
sense,
of goes
yeah.
hand in
Yeah,
hand.
I'm
Like
there.
I'm not an all day streamer. I don't have the time. So when the
Oh,
kids go to bed is when I have time to stream. The only reason I'm doing this podcast is because one of my kids takes a nap during the day.
yeah.
The other one's at the age where they can kind of just take care of themselves and watch an iPad or watch TV or something. So yeah, I probably will I might hit the stream button just so everyone can watch the dumpster fire happen all at once. But there's
Can't wait,
there's
dude.
that experience that people get to experience with you. So I might just do it anyway.
That's so precious, dude. That's so cool. You
It's-
should
it's fun.
allow people to see it.
Yeah, I probably will. I wanted to have an act like a clue though, because what I hated doing was having to stop the stream and go look something up, right? So, but like you do that really well, Chegg, and maybe I do have a button to where you can see my desktop and see what I'm doing and kind of like do the research along with me.
Yeah, I
And
love
so
doing that. Like I would,
lose the
yeah. I
attention.
just hop to someone's video, and I will share it in the chat so that people can click if they like it, and so that I'm not like stealing their content or whatever. If you're looking at mine, I don't care. Like my YouTube channel is just to help people out, and I don't really care.
Mhm.
But I think people, because that's your process of learning, especially an alpha game, and they might see that, hey, maybe it helps them to figure out that, hey, but I can just alt tab and look at it. It's not the way to go, but that's the only way we have right now, if you know what I mean.
Right. And
There
I
is
like
something to be said about like if you actually have a community around you that can like help you kind of figure things out at the same time. It does. I don't know. Personally, I feel like that kind of helps preserve some of the good about Star Citizen, which is the just wow factor of the fidelity of the environments that you're in, the fidelity of the ship, and the way it feels to fly it and stuff like that. So I think, like, yeah, I mean, if you do decide to go live, it's awesome if you have some people there who can kind of help you through it, because it helps to kind of preserve the good without, and
being too
hopefully
bad.
save you from some of the rage Alt F4s, because there is
Yeah.
a lot about this game that is super cool, and that's the new player experience that's really fun to witness. It's when like the satisfaction of setting your ship down for the first time, and like, fuck,
Right.
I stuck that landing, it's awesome.
Right.
Like
I think
so
it was funny. I think I might have been talking to Chegger. He might have been streaming, and then when he told me to get the Mustang, traded my i300 for the Mustang and the Rock, and I didn't even know how to open the fucking door on the ship. I'm like, where is this? I knew I knew how to do it, but I was like, where is it? Like I was moving the mouse over every single part of this ship, and I'm like, nothing's highlighting. I don't even know how to get in this mother. So I was getting frustrated. He's like, oh yeah, it's like the third panel under the wing by the wing, and it's gonna. And I'm like, oh okay. So and I swear I looked there.
They
and
changed
put
it
my
now.
mouse there.
They actually added
It didn't-
dispatch. They added a little dot where it says like, this is where you enter the ship.
Yeah.
Or every
So
ship.
anyway, it's funny. So, but
But
that kind of stuff can be fun. But I didn't want it. Sometimes I don't want it to be to that point, right? So
Yeah.
that's just something you. Hey, but whatever. I might go live, but it's been good, and I do look forward to getting into the new player experience and then coming back and doing this again.
Yes.
And, be an interesting conversation at that point
For sure.
Quix,
Cool.
thank
Well,
you
very much for
so
showing up.
much. Yeah, this was great
Yeah.
experience for me. You're the first guest in our hopefully long lasting podcast, and just a great experience to have you here, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's always fun doing stuff like this and just kind of chatting about stuff. And maybe when I have a little bit more input
Yeah.
as well, it'll be fun. And plus that new player experience.
Cool.
Yep.
Can't wait to
Thanks
see
so
you
much.
stream, man.
All right. Yeah. Hey, if you're gonna be there, I'll feel a lot more confident and I'll push the go live button.
I'll be there, man.
All
Take
right,
care,
guys.
buddy.
Well, I'm gonna sign off. It's been great.
Cool.
See you guys.
See ya.
Take care. Okay, that was great, man. I'm so happy he joined. Oh my god. Amazing. So just before we continue, I'm just gonna say, so Quicksilver streams on Twitch. You saw his nick and or a Twitch handle there. It will be the first link in the description, or if you're watching this on YouTube, it is the first link in the description. Relatively new streamer, but you can see that he has camera presence, really nice voice, good equipment, better than mine for sure, and already has a community that is very welcoming. I've been in a couple of, even like in his stream, my first time I freaking played marbles and we had fun and I was laughing my butt off. So really cool guy. Definitely suggest a follow. Check him out. Yeah. You were about to say something, sorry.
I lost my train of thought.
All right. So let's go on. So I'm just gonna skip with what else we did. I don't think anything else is that really important. We already talked about Xenothread. I did play a lot. Had some issues, whatever, it doesn't matter. But let's go to our imagination station that we skipped from the last time, which is Crusader Orison. And even better now because we actually have some sneak peek into Orison, which we said already. Holy moly. Are you excited about that one?
Yes, actually. I mean, one, because Crusader is my favorite company so far in the game, ship brand as well. Two, because I just like the Crusader system a lot. Like, I just think it's my kind of chosen place to go for trade. It's my chosen place to go for mining. I like low flying on Daymar still a lot. I like bounty hunting around there. I just like the way it's laid out. I like the landing zone accessibility. So adding a major landing zone to Crusader, I'm there, man. That's my home.
I can't wait.
Plus,
I'm just
I
saying.
do really like. I don't know that from the white boxes and the sneak peeks that we've seen so far.
It looks bright and gives a good vibe.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I like the science behind it. It's a low mass gas giant with an oxygen nitrogen upper atmosphere. That's really cool. And it makes sense too with that it's a low mass gas giant, because you'd actually be able to have like the convection that would allow those heavier elements to kind of maintain a higher concentration up in the upper areas of the atmosphere. Yeah, I just think like I'm waiting for Orison as far as the landing zone goes.
Here's a question: do you think it would be easy to fly in and out from it than like other areas, like other planets that we have in Stanton?
I think it'll be about the same, to be honest.
You still think you'll have to like go 10 kilometers above to be able to like jump out on it?
Yeah. So far as I'm aware, the logic or the lore behind you having to go up a certain distance from a planetary body or a moon is gravity based. So far as I'm aware,
yeah, but we don't know how far. Oh no, but we talked about this.
Oh, you mean like do you think they'll make it go further, like to quantum?
No, I thought maybe less because the city
Hmm.
itself will be kind of away from the planet itself in a way.
Yeah, but
then where's the planet actually? Yeah, I remember you talked about this. Yeah.
Like the gravity exerted by a gas giant is like exponentially, even a low mass gas giant is like exponentially more than like a terrestrial, even a super Earth like Hurston and ArcCorp are. So it does still kind of make sense that that you'd have to go further. You'd have to go out a little bit more before being able to engage QT. But as far as like being able, like how difficult it's going to be to get in and out of, I think it'll be about the same. I mean, I think that they'll probably have. I don't think that the like I think you'll be able to go below the city, but I think they'll probably have a floor limit where they'll start kind of flashing warnings that if you go any lower, the pressure is going to kill you
Mm.
and it'll destroy your ship. But landing, I think it'll be
I
a
can't.
similar
Like,
experience.
I just like I because oh my god, I don't even know where to start. It's like the only like idea that I have about it was we've seen a lot about it, but like what it reminds me of is like what's the name? Um, there's a city in World of Warcraft. Well, not like Dalaran, but like there's in Norse mythology. God
Oh,
damn it!
crap. I don't remember what it's
It's
called.
so popular, and now my brain farts.
Well, it's not. It wasn't actually Valhalla in WoW. It was like no, Trondheim. No,
No,
I don't remember.
Trondheim is a place in Norway,
Right.
but it's something like that. Yeah. But anyways, like that's the idea that I have when we talk about it. It's like, oh man, I just can't wait. Just like landing your ship. I just hope it's gonna be really big because it's like a floating
Oh, it's
city.
going to be.
I
It's
want it
going
to
to be
be
absolutely.
big so that my ship feels tiny compared to when I'm like going there. You know what I mean?
It's going to be. But from from what we've seen, I think it'll be really, really sprawling, like the space stations are starting to become, where it's like kind of more thinner kind of struts connecting uh,
Uh-huh.
larger bodies and stuff like that. At least the concept art we've seen
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Orison so far, that does seem to be the case. But yeah, like I expect it to be big, and even in the lore, it mentions just how like expansive the city of Orison is, because it's like one of Crusader's primary shipyards too. It's where they build
So
a
that's
lot of
another
their
thing. Do you think that's gonna be part of the city or like Area 18, Area 17 thing, kind of? Where it's like, a little bit outside of the city. And the other thing
I think
is,
it's all one. I think it's
oh,
all. I mean, I think it's all one kind of conglomeration. But I don't really see that being a problem. I don't think you'll be able to access them. Like you might be able to fly around them, but you won't be able to go inside
you don't
or
think there's gonna
anything
be
like
like
that.
missions for that, just like Xenotrap, where you're like bringing materials for their ships to be built and whatnot?
Eventually, sure.
Yeah.
Right away,
But
no.
then, no, that's okay. But I guess you would be able to access, kind of, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
would be
well,
cool to see like ships being built, in a
yeah, it
dry
would.
dock.
That would be awesome.
Even if
I
they
don't know
never
if they'll do
change,
that.
but like half built C2.
I hope they do that. I think it would be
Mm,
awesome if they did kind of show them under construction. I'm not holding my breath for that.
true.
I think I think they probably won't do stuff like that at least initially. But yeah, I think yeah, I'm really interested to see how big this city is. But like if Lorville or Area 18 or anything to go off of, I think it'll be like kilometers long. Like, you know, what is Lorville? Lorville's like
I
4 or 8 kilometers or
I
something.
don't know these
8 by 8, something like that. Big. So I expect
numbers.
the same thing from Orison. I mean, it's a major landing zone, so
Sure. So, what do you think about the other planetary like little stations that we have now? Are they going
what
to be
about,
like little floating islands,
you mean like the
like
R&R
Shubin
station?
mining whatever facility we have now, around the planet?
Oh, oh, little outposts. Man, no,
Outposts, yeah.
I didn't even think about that
I
actually.
That's gonna be crazy. Are you going to be like different elevation from the planet and whatnot? Like, you know what I mean? Like, holy shit, can't even
There's
do it.
nothing, yeah, there's nothing stopping them from doing that. Though, if I had to put like a point on like where we might see that sort of stuff, I could see that coming, because you know how they're doing Orison releases in 2 phases, right? Like they're
It's the
doing the
same with New
main,
Babbage. They had like only,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I could see that being the same thing where like like in the first release of Orison, it's probably just going to be Orison on Crusader. But yeah, I think it would be super cool if
Okay,
you
so next question with this, because this is Imagination Station.
yeah.
So, yes, being mined, I guess, around Gas Giant makes sense. And
Mhm.
then whale watching stations kind of
Yeah.
a place where you might be able to see a whale. You know what I mean? Like a port where you get,
Here's an
obviously not
imagined thing, man.
immediately, but like you know what I
No,
mean?
but
Like
here's
just in general.
I don't know, man. I if
You
we're
think
gonna
they're
go
coming?
imagine on this,
Okay.
I think within the first or second installment of Orison, we might see their first iterations of fauna on
That
a
would
planet, and
be.
it could be those
Oh man,
it
I
could be
can't wait.
those gas giant whales, the space whales. Because and the reason I think this is because they're teasing the shit out of them right now. And they
Ah.
typically only do that when they're like actively working on something and are thinking about releasing it. So they have a statue that they're working on that they teased before of the space whale. And what that says to me is that they've settled on a design
Yeah, but we saw this
for it.
design when I started
Now,
playing.
we saw the concept art,
Yeah.
a couple different forms of concept art.
Yeah, but they look
But if
like this one, really. Like it's one of those
sure,
concept arts.
of course it is. But because they're making a statue of it, that means they've settled on it. So it's no
Do you
longer
think so?
concept art.
Okay, fair, yeah. But they said it might be like different species of these whales as well.
Maybe.
Which,
I
well,
hope so.
whatever. Give us one and then bring another one
Totally.
in a DLC. Oh,
I betcha. I betcha. I would not be surprised if they were like, surprise, here's Orison, and also if you hunt hard enough on Crusader, you might see a space whale.
And then maybe there's a mission that is like, oh, if you have an Origin ship, Phoenix, would they actually like do it like that? And you need certain ship for certain. Well, they have to do it
No.
later
They have to do it later.
because that's the
But
gameplay for this kind of ships, right?
yeah. Yeah. But as of right now, I don't think there'll be any missions around it or anything. My guess would be it'll be just a basic NPC that'll probably be derping out most of the time, let's be honest.
Yeah,
You
of
know,
course.
they'll probably just be like, still and not moving or anything like that, or moving really, really jank. But
Or standing on a
I
chair.
or standing on a wheelchair. Yeah, I don't know. That
Okay.
we should write this down as like some sort of bet. I don't know. We haven't bet anything, but this is my prediction. My prediction is that in either the first or second releases of Orison, we see space whales on Crusader somewhere. Not the statue,
Let's
like
bet.
an actual
I'm saying
mob.
that's not gonna happen. Let's bet into 5 gift subs.
Okay, sure.
Do you have subs on your channel?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I know you do. I know you do. Okay, there you go. You need to stream more though, because those people when they get subbed, if you're correct, which you're not,
Yeah.
they need
Yeah, I
to
need to.
get something for the money.
Yeah, it's on my list. I'm just wrapping up stuff at work, and I've already kind of been like,
Oh, I didn't mean
been
to put you
starting
on the
to.
spot, man. It was just a
No,
joke.
it's not. It's
I know
something.
you
No,
want to do it. I know.
it's been on my brain. I was going to do it last week, then I ended up having to fix the dishwasher instead, and then I didn't stream.
Okay, one more question. Is it a fair trade giving away Levski for Orison?
Yes. And this is coming from somebody
who loves
Levski.
Levski. Yeah, I would trade it in a split second. To be fair,
Yeah.
just because of the
Yeah.
atmosphere. Like I'm a person who lives in a very dark thoughts and everything. Which Levski, when you go there, it's kind of depressing and all that. Even though it's great, right? And then you
Yeah.
look at the Orison, you're like, oh my god, yes, I will just
Yeah.
chill here, or in Babbage, and it's like, oh.
There's a couple reasons. There's a couple reasons of that for me, and that's that again, the legacy tech, versus like
but but this
modern
is
landing
technical.
zone coming out.
I'm more
Sure.
thinking about like just emotional thing. Like, would you trade it?
Yeah. Also, emotion. Like I said, there's multiple layers for me. It's technical. There's lore based. Insofar as like Levski isn't supposed to be in Stanton, and then there's the emotional thing as well. Which, like I said, I have a lot of fond memories, and I really like how Levski is. I like that they're basically, space communists, but I still think Orison is cool, and I think it'll. I would trade it. Yeah,
there
for sure.
All right.
Imagine wise, guess it's not really revamped fuel mechanics are on the progress tracker.
Ooh.
Crusader is the gas giant.
You think
You
maybe
know, even
Starfarer can
though
get something out of this?
kind of where I'm thinking, like imagine wise, I wonder if we see like Year Zero fuel scooping at some
It would
point
be
this year.
so good, right? That would make a lot
Yeah,
of people happy. How
it would.
crazy is it that there's no Crusader ship that does that? Or should I say how stupid that is?
I guess. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised personally. Are you? I mean, like the Starfarer has been a meme ship for pretty much since it's been in.
Ah, I love that
So
ship too
like,
much to like. Yeah, I know, I agree, but at the same time, I really want it to be a thing. And there's definitely space for the gameplay. Like if you look at the Elite Dangerous that we were talking about today, you have whole groups of like there's a famous group of people, players that do
mm,
nothing else.
yeah,
They're
fuel
called
rats.
fuel rats, exactly. And
Yeah,
then they just scoop fuel and help people who run out of fuel.
yeah.
So
I think
why
that's super
wouldn't we
cool.
have it? You know what I mean? Like, it'd be
I think we
really cool.
will. Again, I just think it's a question of priorities, right? You
True,
know,
true.
uh, and I wouldn't be surprised if multiple other ships ended up with a fuel scooping type ship, and it does kind of suit Crusader. Though I will say that if I'm not mistaken, from a lore perspective, I'll have to double check with Paul on this to see if he knows anything about it. But if I'm not mistaken, Crusader as a gas giant in the lore isn't really suitable for fuel scooping
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think it has a very high hydrogen or helium
There must be
content.
something else, right? So I wonder if they changed the fuel scooping to like gas, whatever is in it, scooping. You know
Hmm.
they mentioned like gas mining at some point, which is something we have in Eve,
Yeah,
for example.
yeah, for sure. And like there's been a couple things they've talked about way back was like with respect to fuel. And this is actually something I think we might start seeing in this fuel revamp is different types of fuel to scoop. So not only is the Starfarer a fuel scooping ship, but it's also a refinery ship.
Mm-hmm.
And at least the original, if I'm not mistaken, there was a document on it where they released the intention to like be able to scoop out gas of various elements and molecules and refine them into different types of fuel that would have different effects in your ship when you use it. So one might be high efficiency but low output. One might be really high output but generates a ton of heat or whatever,
Dude.
and that kind of thing. So
Okay, listen to me now.
yep,
If something like that happens, we have a refinery already as a standalone station, right?
yep, mhm.
Starfarer is and whoever is listening to this, don't get pissed off. This is
This is the
Imagine
Imagine
Station,
section.
so
Yeah.
we're full of shit, okay? But imagine this: Starfarer being the most useless ship in the game. I even tried fitting it, the Gemini one, fitting it for battle. It's impossible. You just get blown into pieces because of your cross section is massive, and you just don't have. There's no way you can fight
Maneuverability
with
is
that thing. Like
awful.
you have to
Yeah.
be protected. But if it gets an actual refining gameplay for the gas and gas starts being scooped, and it can sell it or trade it, immediately with that, it would become one of the most amazing self-sustaining ships where you can like live on and work. It has amazing quarters. It's a big, solid ship. Looks really good.
I'd say the interior is a bit of a mess, but
I
the crew
love that
quarters and stuff like
interior.
that are cool. I just think it doesn't really make a ton of sense. It's like it's designed for an FPS battle. It's not designed to be laid out in a way that makes sense.
Wait, what? I love that ship. I love the interior. I want like that's currently my choice for home because MSR just did not happen to be what it is.
The parts of the interior, sure. Like for example, the captain's quarters, the crew quarters, the mess, like all that is cool. It's
Okay.
really cool. But I just like the actual layout itself. They've even admitted this. The devs have admitted this. Like this was their first attempt at a large kind of multi-crew ship, and the way they built it was was basically they were building like an FPS level, something to be interesting if you were to have an FPS battle in it. And that's honest. That's what most people did with that Starfarer
I know,
when it first
and
came into the
Reclaimer
game.
as well.
Yeah,
But
they basically say, okay, so 10 people, go hide, and then they just play like hide and seek, and that's how they designed it. And you can tell, like, it's not
I
laid out
cannot.
very well.
See, this is the thing. I don't know any of this stuff, and you do, and I don't get that vibe from it at all. Because I came in when it was just a meme in a way that it's it's a useless ship for so long, and
Yeah, it's
but
not useless. I used to haul in it.
yeah, I did as well. But like, it's not what you pay for. It's been waiting for to become something for a long time, and that's the meme in my head.
Yeah,
Not the layout. I really enjoy that layout.
Okay.
Fuck, like now I'm gonna pay attention to it again. I have it. So,
Well, there's two memes for it for sure. The meme that it's
Sure.
a useless ship, and the meme that the layout inside is
I haven't.
labyrinthine.
I didn't come across that, and
Well, I wonder if that's because, Chegg, you're used to navigating actual vessels.
today. Oh my god! You know what happened today? So Xenotrat actually you recover supplies from Starfarers.
Yep.
And you can't open and close doors, right? I don't know if you've been inside. Okay. So
well,
I got
you just have to turn on the
locked.
generator first.
Okay, whatever. I got closed. I got locked into one, and I was like, "What the? I can't open the door now." And luckily I know the whole. So this is a thing. I don't really get lost in that shit.
Yeah, I don't either because I'm like I had one for a while. It was the loaner for the BMM, and I used to haul in it. So yeah, I know it pretty well. But
I do like the idea of other people being lost in my ship, and I know my way around. It's kind of safety feature in a way.
Totally.
And I know how to escape from, like, in multiple ways to different rooms and even get out, like through the hatches and whatnot. So
there's multiple exits in it, which is cool.
Cool. CIG, the ships to have multiple exits. Thank you. Because the fucking Redeemer, it looks like it doesn't have another exit. Is Redeemer the name? Did I get it correctly?
There could be a side ladder hatch similar to like a freelance or something like that.
Yes, I saw hatch, and then I like even marked it on my Discord with all of the screenshots, and then Rev came in and said, "Well, that's a turret," and I'm like, "Fuck."
I saw that. I don't think it looks like a turret.
It looks like a hatch on Retaliator for me.
Is that what their turrets look like on a Retaliator?
No, it looks like a hatch. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It looks like you can open and jump down, just like from a dropship, basically.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw it. Though it is pretty small, but I don't think
we don't know the scale, right? We don't know how big that small is. That's the thing.
Yeah. For sure.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, imagine. I'd love that, dude. I'd love that. All of a sudden, you have a ship that is whoo-la. Okay.
Yep. I don't know. I'll again, like, this is one that I wouldn't be
excited at all about.
Well, I would be. No, totally. I want there to be fuel harvesting mechanics. I don't have one, but I want them to be in the game. No, what I mean is, like, I'm not going to I wouldn't be willing to bet on this one.
Okay, fair, yeah. That's what I mean. I wouldn't get excited about that coming in, like, now or whatever.
Yeah, that's full on Imagine territory.
Yep,
like,
that's what this is, so it's fine.
Yep.
All right, take it, man.
Okay. This is the section of the show where I do something on the science of Star Citizen, with not putting any effort at all into fact checking or doing any research, which is why it's called the absolute zero effort science section. So last week, I will say, was a little bit of a mess because I wasn't super prepared. It was extra low effort. I did a thing on terraforming, and
I still learned something from it, so I think it's I'm not the only one for sure.
There's more I could add to that because my mainly I would just say it makes me angry because physics, and I didn't explain it very well. But I'm gonna go back to the positive side of things this time and say that one of the things that I thought was really cool that Star Citizen did well on the science side of things, not 100%, but well, was actually the Pyro system. And I think this is kind of a fun topic because Pyro's top of mind for a lot of people. It's like the system that we're gonna get next. And specifically, I'm going kind of off of the sneak peeks that we've seen so far, as well as some of the lore about Pyro. So, first off, to clear the air here, no, Pyro is not in a prolonged Nova state because there's no such thing as that. And Sherry from the lore team backs me up on this. I love you, Sherry. In the lore maker's guide about Pyro system, she just says flat out, Pyro is what's called an M dwarf flare star, and she says flat out too, it's not in a prolonged nova state because that's not a thing. That doesn't happen.
Do you maybe have a link to that specific? You don't have to look for it now, but can we put it in the description, because that would be cool.
Yeah,
to have.
sure.
And she's amazing. We both love her. She's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, she's my favorite lore person because
Sure.
she's like
Same.
the most like into space science from the sound of things.
I just like her passion for it. That's all. You have
Yeah.
another reason for it, but yeah. Or like
but ultimately,
reason.
if like we'll get the link into the description, but it's also just you can just Google Pyro lore makers
True.
guide to the galaxy Pyro and it'll come up. But yeah, so anyways, it's a M dwarf flare star, which basically means that it is a small, very low mass red dwarf star, which we've actually learned now are the most common stars in the universe, as far as we can tell, at least in our galaxy.
Wait, we as humans, or we in
as
Star
humans?
Citizen?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, as humans now, we've actually just recently discovered. We didn't actually realize, and this is tangenting a little bit, but we didn't realize that they were so common in the galaxy because they're so dim. They don't shine very brightly. Most of the light they emit is in the infrared spectrum. So it wasn't until we started getting advanced kind of spaceborne infrared telescopes that we were able to see just how many of these stars there are out there. And yeah, so they're a very small star compared to our sun. They glow kind of more of like a dim red, but because they're so low mass, the material of the star is constantly able to kind of circulate from the outer layers down into the core, where it's actually doing the fusion process and then circulating out. And the result of this is, one, an incredibly lived star. Fun fact, we've never seen a red dwarf die, and we won't, because they live for trillions and trillions of years. So that's another reason that that this star wouldn't be in a nova state. No, they're too efficient at burning their fuel. They don't go nova. This is different from our star. For example, like our star is eventually going to expand into a red giant. It probably won't nova, but it'll expand into a red giant because its mass is so high that the fusion fuel is all concentrated in the core, and gravity holds all of that core in place, and it doesn't really let any of the gas, like the hydrogen gas, the fusible objects in the outer part of our star, get into the center where that fusion is going on. That's not the case with Pyro. Pyro, everything's circulating. You get this constant kind of like refreshing of the fusion fuel in the core, so it'll burn for a very long time. But a byproduct of that mechanic is that because there's constantly material that's moving in and out, fusing in the center and stuff like that, you get these big, powerful flares of light and radiation that kind of like pour off of these stars.
Very flashy if you get close, right?
Oh,
I mean, that's going to be like signature recognition for us.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Totally. One of the things that they've said about Pyro in game is that because it's got these big, nasty flares that flare off all the time, radiation is going to be a huge thing for us in the Pyro system. You're going to have to really watch, because if you get caught in one of these like high radiation pulses that comes off the star, you're done. You're fried.
What about the ship?
It'll burn straight through your ship, and it'll just kill everything inside of it. It'll kill all your components, but before all that, your character will just die.
Holy shit! They should just make it so that you can't even get there, and then there you go. You got the second system. Can't go there because you're gonna die instantly, but it's there.
I hope they do that. They might, because they said they are going to be rolling Pyro out in a few different phases. I think is what they said. So it would kind of make sense. Like they absolutely could just say, you know, like you can't access this part of the system right now because there's a big flare that's going on, and any ship that basically crosses this line is just fried. So yeah, so that's what they've done right. These flare stars, they increase their brightness like by thousands of times sometimes as these big flares kind of come out and they fry things. And the result of all the planets around the Pyro system, they're usually, you know, just torched husks. Like the one that's closest to the star doesn't have an atmosphere because these big solar flares have a tendency to just strip the atmospheres off of planets. All these high energy particles basically slam into the gas which is around you know, which forms the atmosphere around a planet, and just constantly just punches them out into space. But further away from the star, we've seen in the little like sneak peeks and stuff like that, there are planets that have managed to hold on to an atmosphere and actually have foliage on them as well.
Yeah, they have flora and fauna, right?
And this is one of the things that again, like Star Citizen did really well. In one of these sneak peeks, you'll notice that a lot of the foliage, one of the pictures we've seen, I wasn't able to find it in the videos. I think it may have been in a Comlink post. They showed pictures of the foliage, and the foliage is black. And this is another thing that xenobiologists, as far as we have them anyways, have speculated that you would see in if there were life around a red dwarf star, because most of the, like I said, most of the energy that star is emitting is in the infrared spectrum. So if there were plants that were evolved to kind of live on that sort of light, they would probably be black to absorb more of the star's radiation.
Do you think we're gonna have like infrared goggles on one of the helmets that we will able to see more?
I don't know, but you probably wouldn't want to. Well, maybe you might want that actually.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I just mean like if infrared radiation is like really prevalent around the star and they actually do this properly, then if you turned on infrared mode, you might go blind.
Oh shit! Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, or it could just make it visible, because this was kind of where. It is. Yeah, and this is one of the things. Right? Where it remains to be seen with the Pyro system. But what I'm hoping they do, I hope they make this system really dim. Because again, like not a lot of the light that the red dwarf stars emit is in the visible spectrum. So I'm hoping that Pyro is really kind of like dim and moody, but it remains to be seen if they'll go that far. Because
I think it's going to be very orange yellow. I don't think it's going to be like dim.
At that point, it may end up, you know,
too much,
just not being very fun in the game. Yeah. So so those are some of the things that Pyro does right. I think that's really cool. I am really hoping to see kind of more of this in Star Citizen, where they very clearly, the lore team has like a focus on the actual astronomy, the science behind these stars, and they kind of produce it. Because I know not everybody's as interested in that as I am, but that's something that I see, and it just makes the game even cooler for me when I'm like, black foliage, oh my god, that's a detail that most people probably won't pick up on, but is like grounded in science.
But there's Galactopedia, and which will be part of the game, and people might become you know, like curious about these things and be like,
totally,
is this my what's the name, GPU, or is it like, is it supposed to be like this? Okay, let me check in Galactopedia, and then there's like Sherry's, you know, explanation of infrared or whatever. So totally. I think these things are very cool. Yeah, right now I don't think many players care about that, especially because we're like Q&A team more than anything else. But as the game comes out and it expands, I think this will be amazing to, you know, learn things, because a lot of stuff that we're getting in Star Citizen leans on reality. It's not really how do we call it, simulation. It's not. It's a game in the end, but it heavily leans on reality in so many things. That is, I like that. I think that's one of the selling points for me. So
I really hope that they end up, and this is going back probably into Imagine territory, but I really hope that the science, the actual science behind stuff like we've seen in the Pyro system, I really hope that that ends up playing into the science gameplay, because it would be really cool
to
for
learn
people
something.
to be learning stuff like this while they're playing a science mini game, like if you were pursuing the science profession in Star Citizen. But
Ireland Sen is ready and waiting.
yeah. I think that. Oh yeah, man. I think that'll be really cool ship for it. But there are a couple things that they didn't really get right about the Pyro system.
Oops.
First of all, it's just kind of confusing because if you look at it in the star map, it actually says that Pyro is a K-type main sequence, which is like an orange dwarf, and those stars are like notoriously stable. like they're actually some of the most promising places to look for life, because they emit a good amount of energy, they're relatively stable, and they're pretty long lived. They're actually smaller than our sun, but yeah, we've shown that that K-type main sequence dwarfs frequently have rocky planets around them. Like I said, they're very long lived and they're relatively stable. They don't produce a ton of really bad radiation. So clearly there's something that's mismatched there. But I would say that after watching the Lore Maker's Guide with Sherry about Pyro, I would say that that's probably an error on the star map.
Either that or like, how old is that episode? Because Lore Maker's Guide
2018,
was,
I think.
Yeah, that was like 3 years ago. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So I don't know. I mean, either they're changing what Pyro is,
because
but I hope not.
Sherry may be explaining this to Chris, like, this is why and that and then, and then Chris kind of said, "Yeah, I want it orange." Deal with it.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case, because honestly, they'd really have to redo the lore about like all the different planets. Like, for example, they're not very likely to be radiation blasted like wastelands and stuff like that, and it definitely wouldn't be a highly radioactive system if they changed the star. But hopefully they keep it the way that Sherry said, because I think it'll be a really interesting place to play, and two, yeah, they're just spot on with how they've created that system. Except for, and here's the other thing, because these stars, here's the thing that they don't really get right. Because these M-type dwarf stars are so low mass, they don't exert a lot of gravitational pull around them. So in the lore, or in the star map anyways, Pyro is like a much bigger star system than Stanton is, as far as
Okay.
area.
I did not know that.
And that's I mean, it'll
be?
still have a gravitational effect, quite a ways out, because it is a star after all. I mean, it's a big celestial object.
Yeah, but so is Stanton. So compared to Stanton, right?
Yeah, Stanton should be bigger, basically, just due to the gravitational effect of the star of Stanton. It should have attracted stellar objects much further out than Pyro.
Would
the
something
other
like
thing,
Air and Halo maybe diminish the power of?
No.
Okay, I don't. This is
No.
out of my butt. Like, I don't know, but yeah.
It would just Stanton, for example, would have a very, very large collection of like outer system bodies. Like, because it's a larger mass star, it's going to attract tons of little comets and worldlets and things like that. It's similar to Earth, actually. Like, for example, out past Pluto, there's a ton of stuff that is still technically within our solar system. Eris, I don't know if you remember from The Expanse.
Expanse, yeah.
Eris, the moon that gets affected by the protomolecule.
I know.
That's out past Pluto. Like, it's way, 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 way out. But because our sun has a relatively high mass, well, compared to an M-type star, like it's still kind of accumulating holding these bodies. Less likely with something like Pyro, and as a result of its low gravitational pull, most of the planets that form in M type stars right now, we've discovered, because we've discovered quite a few planets around M stars in real life. They tend to orbit very, very close to the star. And the thing that ends up happening is, because they're orbiting so close, they end up being what's called tidally locked to the star. A good example of what tidal locking means is actually our moon. Our moon is tidally locked to Earth, which means that basically for every rotation of the moon, it equals one full
around the sun.
revolution around our planet. So basically, we always see the same side of the moon as it orbits.
Yeah.
Because it's tidally locked. So
I know there's no other side of the moon, but I don't know if you know that. But like, it's flat and there's nothing there.
Right, it's flat. I forgot. Yeah, the moon is a hoax. You still believe in the moon? Total hoax. But yeah, anyways, so the planets that orbit around a red dwarf star would likely be, especially if they're going to be in the habitable zone, where there's going to be any sort of like liquid water capable of existing on those planets. They'll be tidally locked to the star, which means that one side of that planet will probably, at least as far as we know so far, would be locked and would always be
dark side, right?
Day side, and the other side would always be in the night side. And it doesn't look like Pyro 1 and 2 are like that. So, I mean, there are reasons why they could still be orbiting. For example, if one of those planets had been impacted by another very large planet, it might have imparted some more rotational speed. But mostly, we think that planets orbiting around a red dwarf star would be one side facing the entire time.
That's crazy, dude. Would we even be able to live in a place like that as humans?
Yes, possible. It's possible.
I mean, part of our world technically lives like 6 months in the night.
Yes,
6 months during the day,
and you get that crazy sort of weather, right? So basically, the center, they're actually called an eyeball world, is what they call them. The center of that eyeball world that faces the star would likely be completely uninhabitable. It would be
super hot.
It would be hotter than the hottest
that makes sense.
deserts that we have.
Even with my very limited knowledge, I came to a conclusion it would be hot. So
yeah, and then on the other side, it'd be the opposite. It'd be like Antarctic temperatures, below Antarctic temperatures,
where I would live probably.
Permanently. But along the circumference of the planet, there'd be a ring of habitability, and it'd be they call it like a twilight zone, and that's what it'd be. It'd be like perpetual sunset or sunrise.
Okay.
And in those areas, they suspect there could be liquid water that exists on these eyeball worlds like that. So I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that we get to see something like that in Star Citizen, because that would be really cool.
That. But I think the only person who would push for something like that would actually be Sherry, maybe.
Probably. I don't know. Depends on how nerdy CR actually is. But,
or if he just gives them the freedom, like.
Yeah, I think it could be a technical hurdle, but man, how cool would that be to be like, flying through like deserts and stuff like that? Then all of a sudden you get into this area where, on the equator, or sorry, over the poles, where it's like, like you start getting into kind of like actual plant life and stuff like that, and then you keep flying, and it just becomes this like frozen wasteland.
It would be cool. It would be really cool.
I think that would be really cool.
Like, that's almost like content for itself, not to mention like exploration and science. Like there you go. Like that's where you would go as an explorer, probably.
Totally.
And then also obviously for wallpaper, fucking art, whatever.
The one problem with an eyeball world, and we're not really sure what would happen with this, is that in order to retain an atmosphere, especially around a red dwarf star, which emits tons of radiation, which is prone to stripping off atmospheres. In order to maintain an atmosphere, we theorize that you kind of need to have an electromagnetic field around around the planet, similar to how we do on Earth. But the reason we have that on Earth is because the inside of our core is still spinning.
Mhm.
So you have this basically iron, this big chunk of molten iron and nickel in the center of our planet that's spinning around really fast,
I
and
mean,
that
we
is
replicate that not like kind of on smaller scale, right?
yeah, sure, yeah. It's basic, well, quote basic electromagnetic
Mm.
uh physics, electricity and magnetism. Like you basically have a dynamo spinning in
Yeah.
the center of the Earth, and that creates basically a force field around our planet that keeps our sun from stripping off our atmosphere. You don't even have to look far to see what happens when the core of a planet cools and you don't have that electromagnetic field, because that's what you're looking at when you look at Mars. Mars used to be, we suspect, a place where it had a thick atmosphere and liquid water. Um, but because it was smaller and it lost the energy, like the heat energy from the core quicker than our planet did, it eventually lost that electromagnetic field, and over billions of years, the sun stripped the atmosphere off it. Even our sun, which is like a lot less active than a red dwarf star is. So the
Can
one
that
problem
happen to
with the
Earth? Or like how
it will
long does
happen
it
to
take?
Earth eventually. Yeah.
Could we be like could it happen abruptly?
No.
And even if it
No.
did, would it actually affect it immediately? Probably not, right?
Yeah, pretty immediately. I mean, we wouldn't lose our atmosphere right off the bat, because like it takes a long time for solar radiation to strip off of it,
Mm.
to strip off an atmosphere. But if our electromagnetic field suddenly ceased, we'd basically all get cancer and die.
Okay, Elon
Because
Musk and Jeff Bezos, speed up,
yeah,
guys. Like
yeah. Well,
we're on the
I mean,
clock here.
we're looking at billions of years before that happens.
Yeah,
On In
sure.
fact, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure the sun's going to swallow Earth before our magnetic field stops. And also before that, the sun is actually increasing in temperature and will have baked Earth to extinction long before that even
Okay,
happens. So
we're not talking about some fuck you.
but anyway, so like with these stars that orbit that close to a red dwarf star, it's so close that they're tidally locked, we think that probably would kill the electromagnetic field on it pretty quick, and probably would end up with a stripped atmosphere quickly as well. So not really sure if eyeball worlds would exist in a habitable and have like habitable zones on them yet, but yeah,
Hey,
that is
we could
something that we
have
could
them
see
in
around the
game.
Pyro system.
Yeah.
And if not, still be a cool system. I think that the fauna that we see will probably be limited to the outer planets, and it'll probably be relatively sparse from what we've seen so far, just given the radiation levels and stuff like that in Pyro. But yeah, so those are some of the things that Pyro, or that Star Citizen, did well with the science,
That was cool.
and
Do
some
you
of the things
think
that they did not so well.
do you think
But
you're
I'm
gonna be
really excited for Pyro.
that's what I was about to ask. Do you think you're gonna be spending time there? Or
Me?
are you
Yeah,
just excited
absolutely.
about that happening as an event, like having that system?
All of the above. All of the above. I'm definitely
Hmm.
going to go and explore it, because I think it's going to be beautiful from what we've seen with the gas clouds and stuff like that. Um, I'm excited for the idea of like just full on outlaw PvP looking over your
Yeah.
shoulder. I think that's going to be really fun.
With 50
Even though
people
I'm
on the
not big
server?
into PvP. Sorry.
With 50 people on the server?
Well, we're not seeing Pyro until we get server meshing. They flat out said that. So,
I still think that
so
will happen, just saying.
you still think it'll be
I
50
think
50
Pyro will
players?
be separate server. I think they're gonna opt out for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And it probably will be just 50. I don't know, but
Yeah.
if you're gonna encounter any sort of like large PvP, it'll be there where there's like no consequences for it. So, even though I'm not big into PvP, I'm excited to go participate in that. I'm excited because I
That's
think
gonna
it'll
be
be beautiful
fucked,
and
bro.
fun to
Because
explore.
hmm,
And also I think like from an economic perspective, I think that they'll deliberately make it so that there's like some big money you can make there,
sure.
because it'll be very risky.
But
So yeah,
I
there's
think
a lot of reasons
they
I'm excited
need
for Pyro.
spawning ships before any of that happens, because holy shit, it's gonna be difficult to get your ships already with you know.
I think, like, first of all, you'll be able to spawn them at Ruin Station, because that'll be the main landing zone there. But they've also said that they're doing R&R stations there. So like, but they'll be kind of like run down. Some of them, in fact, probably most of them will be abandoned. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I just think from a gameplay perspective, I don't think they'll make it. So it's so hard to find infrastructure to respawn and to refuel there. I think it will be harder
I think it'll be hard. I also
than
think
Crusader.
we might
But
get like Nyx very close to Pyro, or if not even at the same time. And I think Nyx will be
maybe.
the place for actually spending time in rather than Pyro, if you know what I mean.
Well, I hope that that's the case, but I hope that it's because, like I said, it's going to be hard to. Like, I'm under no illusions. I know that when Pyro rolls out, they're probably not going to do the radiation thing right off the bat.
Okay.
But yeah, like I hope that, I hope that people don't spend a ton of, end up not spending a ton of time in Pyro just because it's like difficult to survive there. That's what I
hope. It's kind of in my head now that you talked about all this. It feels like ships like Banu Merchantman,
Privateer.
Kraken, Privateer, these ships will shine with something like Pyro.
Totally.
And I feel like this might come at the same time. In that case, if you can spawn your ships there on another ship, you have an org, you have a merchantman, you can make Pyro be really fucked up because there's another way to, get the gameplay.
Totally. We'd also potentially have asteroid hangars. So base building could factor into how much time you spend in Pyro. And also just like, I would love to see, like they've talked about like player owned stations. How awesome. I mean, again, this is like down the road, but like, having an org basically find an abandoned R&R station in Pyro, and then just say, we're gonna make this our base and bring it back up to
It'd be great if you can
standpoint.
lose it as well, like some kind of an upkeep or something, because otherwise you need so many stations. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. No, like absolutely. And in Pyro, when it's the Wild West, absolutely stuff like that is going to be disputed. If you end up with a station, and you fix it up and it ends up being like in a good space and it's like becoming an economic hub, you can guarantee that somebody's going to come try to take it from you.
Yeah, and that's okay. Like, I don't want a player bases to be. My camera is so bad right now, I can see it. But I don't want.
It's not bad on my screen.
No, it's like I have a couple of frames. I don't know. Anyways, I don't want player based. Player homesteads on planetary surfaces to be destructible, rather like damage or whatever, so it stops working if you have, I don't know, like a farm or whatever the fuck. But I don't want you to like lose your entire base because someone decided to nuke it from fucking atmosphere or whatever, or even out of it. But this,
I don't know,
like a station, they can make money and all that, like in space, and ships can dock in and dock out and all that shit. Fucking break it to a point where you can get in and make it your own, but you have to repair it and whatnot,
Yeah.
As an investment, I'd be okay with that 100%.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about destructible bases yet, because there's part of me that knows from playing different survival games and stuff like that.
Can't go wrong.
How demoralizing it is to pour hours into building something and then just have somebody come by and just level it.
Not only
for
that,
no
man,
reason
I've
other
lost
than they can.
90% of my EVE Online Welt while I was not even playing a game because my station was raided, and when I came back in, it was owned by another org, and I would have to pay so much money to get it and transport it. I was like, okay, fuck it, it's all gone. Start over.
Yeah.
And I didn't play since. Just gonna say that.
Yeah. Well, that's it, right? Like, I mean, there's some people who love those sort of hardcore mechanics, but I would say it's pretty niche.
There needs to be
And
a
I
line, right? And
exactly. I just hope
safety.
there's a balance.
Yeah.
So either if they are fully destructible, then I hope that it's not like so crippling that when you lose a base, it's like, I quit.
But how do you do that? Because
Or
I want people
or
to feel their base being their home. Like I want you
mhm.
to love the place that you chose. You know what I mean?
Or the other side of this, and I think we touched on this last week or the week before, or I just hope that it's like it's so easy to basically just hide a base so that like
Mm,
the chances of somebody actually stumbling across it is so minuscule that you don't really have to worry about it.
sure.
So it's still destructible. It's still
And
fully
you can always
destructible,
be followed, bro. And it's like,
but sure, yeah.
just think about it.
So
If
be
you're a
careful.
streamer, you will not be able to have a base in that case. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
And you will not be. No one will want you in their base as well, because wherever the fuck you go,
yeah. Unless it's like a very heavily defended kind of like a full-time org place, or
yeah.
again, I mean the other side of it is to have is the other option still is like to hopefully get to a point where the systems of the game are advanced enough that like if you were afforded UEE protection, it again it means that like the chances of somebody being able to like blitz your base and completely level it before the UEE comes and just nukes the shit out of them, you know.
The problem will
So I don't
always
know.
be that, let's
That's why it's
say
a question mark for me
you
about
invest a lot
defensible
of time
bases.
to like protect your base. You build like whatever, like defense systems and whatnot. But then someone can come with 4 Idrises because they bought it, and fuck you up. They don't have to work for it or
Well,
whatever.
I don't know about that either. I mean, like 4 Idrises, like with
Well,
with full crews.
yeah, work.
Yeah, if it's an org, sure. But again, like, yeah, I don't know.
You want to tell
Ultimately,
me
this is.
Test Squadron will not be able to pull something like that? That's how I
Oh no,
lost
they
my fucking
absolutely were.
whole station in the fucking space
Sure, yeah.
on in Eve. It's dude,
Well, and
these
that's
things happen. They're like, okay, this is a choke point for our troops to go in and out, and it belongs to CCC, which was my org, and they're like, um, they're cool guys, but we gotta take
yeah.
this station.
We're bigger and we need this.
We
Yeah.
need this, and it just happens. Oh my god, it happens so quickly, and you're gone.
Well, and that's why, like I said, I mean, like I don't really know. I still have to reserve whether or not I want bases to be fully lootable and destructible because I don't know enough about how they're planning to do it yet to know whether or not I want that. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I want the risk to be there under certain circumstances, but if those circumstances are different, then yeah, maybe I agree with you. Maybe I'd rather that it's just something that could be like damaged and pretty much leveled, but still there and
Mm.
repairable.
Or like some kind of insurance where you can get the whole
Yep.
blueprint of a whole
Or
base,
that,
but it takes
sure.
forever.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know. Don't get me wrong. For those who are listening, I always play games as hardcore character and one life and all that.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to level this or even it out so that it's both fun for
Yeah.
anyone.
Especially in an MMO environment, not
Yeah.
just in like a survival like a Rust server or something like that with a
There's a
finite
reason
amount
why
of
we don't
people on
have
it.
an MMO like this
Yeah.
after Eve. Like it's just and Eve is one of the greatest surviving games of all times in my mind, but their population is not big.
No. It's a
And
bunch of very, very hardcore players. It
yeah,
was bigger at one time, but
yeah.
again, like it's hardcore to the point that it only appeals to a very, very small
Mm,
portion of people. So,
well, yep.
anyways, that's my science section. If
That
you
was
want to
good,
jump
man.
into the first thing on Stanton Gossip, I'm just gonna run real quick and I will be right back.
Sure. Go for it. Okay, so we're gonna go over to the last section or like pre-made section of our show, which is Stanton Gossip, which is where we go over a couple of videos, or in this case, something different that we either discovered or knew for a long time, but now figured out that should be something that you guys should check out. And both me and Maso are watching a lot of YouTube stuff, and in general, like both podcasts and different YouTube videos about everything and anything that comes from Star Citizen. So basically, the first thing that we're gonna talk about today is not a video. It's different kind of content, and even though we talked with the Quicks today about how he doesn't want spreadsheets to be part of this game, this is actually a spreadsheet. And before I go into it, I want to say that not a lot of you guys might know, but he is a really cool duder from Slovenia called Darjan or Darjanator, or recently accepted his fate of a majority of English-speaking crowd calling him Darj. Part of Fortnightly Frontier with Mr. Meyer, but also very well known in the community. And he is a master of spreadsheets. So basically, the spreadsheet that will be in the description is everything and anything that was made by CIG in a very orderly fashion. Like you can find everything he like spread into like AI animation, audio, character art, cinematics, everything. And then like it's so it's easy to navigate if you know what you're looking for. So if you like ever need to come back from something, I'm looking at something right now, the Star Citizen Around the World 3.4, and like it's if you need to bring something up from the past, and sometimes it's really hard to find that information.
Not sometimes. It's always really hard to find because they don't label their videos properly.
True. Well, I usually have them. What I do usually is, if I find something that I like and I might use later, I just use a lot of favorites, and then I sort them. But then you might lose that as well.
Yeah.
So this is a cloud based spreadsheet. And actually, Maso brought this up, and I'm mind blown. Yeah. This is amazing. I knew about it, but I never like actually.
Did you mention how not only is it like categorized so that it takes you with the link straight to the video, but it's also timestamped specifically, so it brings you not only to that video where whatever you're looking for is covered, it brings you directly to the section in the video where they're talking about that particular thing that you're looking up. Like it is so meticulously organized. It is like, for me, as if like, I mean, like you already probably covered here, like for somebody who, you know, is constantly absorbing information, like, and sometimes maybe needs to go back to double check what was said or something like that. It is a godsend, this thing, because there's no way, like, I'm not even as organized as Cheg. I don't have any favorites or anything like that. I just watch it and then file it away in my brain and then half-ass remember it later. But this is
names of developers, everything is there. And I just want to bring something more up. So this is obviously very specific for a certain amount of people who might use it, and majority probably will not, which is perfectly okay. But I just want to say this. So I explained who Darjanator is, and this person gets there's no benefit for him to make this and share it publicly. And he's I would say he's an actual phenomenon in content creation in Star Citizen and in general in games, because he doesn't stream. He doesn't have, I don't know if he has his own YouTube channel, but even if he does, it's not really, I don't even know. He's not talking about it like in their podcast or anything like that. He's just around. Like, he's always around. He knows so much, and he does a lot of, I would even call it dirty work to make our lives easier for no gain.
He volunteers at CitizenCon, you know, while everybody's having fun, he's working. Like,
I think he deserves, I don't know what, but like, every content creator should know about Darjan and have certain amount of respect for this guy just because of what he does for the community.
Yeah, he is like definitely a keystone in the community. Very, very, very much like a.
Oh, and he could stream and all that because you can find him in different podcasts
Oh yeah,
quite
he's got all the
often.
equipment.
His English is perfect. Like you can understand everything the guy
Oh yeah,
says, even though he's from my region, which is
he built my overlays for me.
yeah.
Like he does contract work if you want like overlays or like scenes and whatever else. He's like incredibly technical as far as like the mechanics behind the software of like how everything works and stuff like that. And he's like, I just messaged him on Discord, and he like always gets back to me. Like
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's
you
been like
can always
super
go to
helpful,
him.
like as a streamer as well. But yeah, you're right. Like he's got all the equipment. He could do it. He just just does his podcast and like all this other stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say Darjan is amongst the content creators like an undercover superstar.
Yes. Yep.
Every bigger content creator knows about him,
Yep.
but not all of the content consumers, I would say. But yeah, I would like to see Darjanator being part of the lore. Fuck, like that guy is crazy. You know what I mean? Like some hacker
Yep. Put him
from
in
I don't
verse.
know, whatever. Him
Totally.
and Paul maybe,
Yeah.
some people like that. That would be fucking cool.
Put him in as like something to do with the
Hacking
the
or
arc. No, the arc.
oh, okay.
You know anything about the ARC community? They're like the big repository of knowledge on
Yeah. I know.
in the verse. They're the people who built the star map.
But Darjan would more be someone who digs out the information behind their butts, and share it to the public, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, super nice guy, and yeah, a link in description. Even if you don't care about it, click on it. It's very interesting. Very, if you know how to use any, like, it's very basic. On user end, it's very basic. Excel spreadsheet.
Yep.
It contains a lot of very interesting information.
Yeah, like if you are like big into Star Citizen, which if you've listened to a 3-hour podcast on it,
3 hours,
I think it's
14 minutes currently.
I think it's pretty safe to say that you are.
Yeah.
You should have this. You should have this spreadsheet in your bookmarks.
Favorites, yeah, bookmarks.
Like,
Yeah.
even if you don't use it very often,
It should be there. Yeah. And he
Yeah.
updates it as well. Like it's been around for a while and still being updated.
Totally.
All right.
Okay.
You take the next one.
Next.
Fuck it. I'm not. Yeah.
The next one, I mean, again, if you have been living under a rock, you probably haven't seen it, but a bunch of footage from the Xenothreat capship battles has been floating around. The link in the description, I think, is done by Jorun, and this is a full clip of a javelin fighting two Idrises. And it's longer, like like it's not a quick video or whatever, but
It's actually
like
long, and the angles are not bad at all. To be fair, like you can see what's happening. It's not bad.
You can see what's happening. Like you can tell it's filmed basically from a ship that's like flying around these different ships. And like it's not flashy and edited like a morphologist video. It's just
raw.
The raw footage of it's raw of this javelin just like pummeling the shit out of two Idrises, and that's pretty cool. Just because again, we haven't really seen that in this game before, and it's rough, but just from what they have here right now,
it's impressive.
Ship battles are going to be cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure. I'm not going to comment on Jorun though. The amount of white knighting is just above my level of. Yeah,
that's fair. The next one I put on here was a subliminal video, and it was specifically. And again, this is not a watch for entertainment thing. This is like a watch for very useful information
just
about
like
the game mechanics and how they work.
Videos, and if like he's such a good source of information. Just saying.
Totally. Very
he
rigorous
also streams,
testing.
So you can go and watch him for fun for sure on Twitch. Super nice guy, approachable and all that, but knows a lot about setups and holy moly, like all the little details about ships, right? So
Totally. And this one specifically, this is the video that'll be linked, is going to be it's about weapon overclocking versus overpowering, which I didn't even know was a thing. I've been playing this game for a long time, and I didn't realize that there was overclocking and then overpowering a weapon.
I never use any of
Um,
these because they're not really working properly. So
yeah, sometimes the overclocking doesn't work very well either. No, most of the time I've been overclocking different weapon systems and stuff like that. But yeah, so apparently there's overclocking, which is 50% fire rate bonus and much more heat generated. Overpowering is a lesser version of that, and that's where you basically go to the item in your power list and you just crank up the power on it to maximum, and it gives you, I think, like a 20% fire rate bonus while generating slightly less heat. So I didn't even know that was a thing.
slightly
But
less
anyways,
than overpowering, right? But still more than.
less than overclocking, but more than
Yeah,
stock.
yeah, exactly. That's right.
And really cool. Yeah. Anyway, so he goes into the details, the nuts and the bolts of it. The link is in the description there. If you're into like creating kind of ship builds in depth and like getting into more of the nuts and the bolts of the systems as they are right now, check the video out.
Also, if
Pretty cool.
you're into PP, if you're not overclocking, you're gonna lose. It's that simple.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Good to know.
Overclocking and heat management right now is kind of the meta.
Yep.
I think it'll eventually change, especially when we get capacitor in. But as of right now, yeah, this is kind of stuff that you need to know if you're going to be doing PvP in any sort of competitive fashion.
Okay. I'm not gonna add anything. Do we have any questions?
I had one question way early on, and Geek Tech, I don't know, you're probably not here anymore, but Geek Tech asked, what rig do you use for flying? And how do you set it up correctly so it's easier to fly? He says he uses an X56 HOTAS and he still can't leave the hangar without crashing.
So I use keyboard and mouse, so I'm not really a lot of fun for it. But one thing I will say for getting out of hangar, I mean, I have a stick, but I don't have HOTAS. Unfortunately, I want one, but getting in Serbia is almost impossible right now. So that's the reason. But I'll tell you one thing: if you are trying to have this is such an easy thing that so many people are overlooking, and not only that it helps, but it's also more immersive. Don't take off and land in with a lot of power. Just lower that power to like 5-10% and then take off, because this actually lowers the power in all your thrusters. It's going to be so much more smooth, and then when you feel ready, then crank that power to SCM and then fly away, right? So and it feels so good. Like if you're flying a big ship like Caterpillar, you need to get into that small hangar in what's the name, Laurelville, for example. If you lower your speed to like 5-10%, you have so much control over it. It's actually amazing.
Do they still do? Because you remember how back in the hover mode era, I guess that was before.
I remember.
They had a separate slider for thruster power as well as speed. I don't know. Do they still have that?
No. There's only one slider.
Okay,
now.
So they rolled it into one. Yeah. Okay, that's probably.
And it affects all of them, and that's it. And but man, it helps so much, like so much. It affects your roll. It affects like all of the thrusters. So
yeah. So in the hover mode era, they gave you two sliders. So you had one that controlled your max speed, which we're all used to, and then they had one that just controlled literally the power that your thrusters could exert. And you could do that independently of your speed. And what basically you'd have to do to touch down is like fly in, get into a stable hover, and then turn down your thruster power until your ship started to float downwards.
Well,
yeah,
that sounds cool.
I'm not sure if that's.
No, you cannot do that anymore. I mean, you would have to get out of
it's pretty convoluted.
You would have to get out of, what's the name? Oh my god, you have to decouple for that to even happen right now, because coupling will keep you
Yeah.
above, right? So anyway, so the other thing that I get, like when I started playing the game and I was having trouble like bumping into things, which never happens anymore. Let's not talk about that. Rev, who is my tutor basically on my channel, always suggests something I never use, and I still don't know what it is. But like left or right shift key or alt, I'm not sure. Actually, locks your ship in certain position so that you can only go up or down. Right. So if you have a hangar that opens above you, and if you lock that, if you hold shift or alt, you'll have to look it up in the controls, and you hold space, your ship will never wiggle around, which will make it so that you actually go through it. Because if you spawn your ship, you're always in perfect position to get out. Always. Like there's no doubt about it. So
Yeah.
we always wiggle a little bit, so it's easy to like move a ship a little bit with your mouse or whatever, and you're never sure. And then sometimes you think it's not in a perfect position, so you move it a little bit, and then you smash your nose in when you're getting out and whatnot. But yeah, that one helps as well. But in my opinion, just slow down. Just slow down.
Yep, that's
Especially
good
with
advice.
HOTAS. Like with HOTAS, if you have like your thruster, just crank it up a little bit, just tiny bit, and then when you're free to go, then jump out. Where you're rushing, anyways, you know. Not like the game is
I
going to
actually,
crash or anything.
I have actually, I've gone through quite a few different control setups over the years because I'm a Star Citizen boomer. I actually started playing joystick and keyboard, and honestly, I still
That's
think
how I did.
joystick and keyboard is like totally fine. You know,
It is
um,
if the joystick is good.
I did crap joystick for my main stick, and
Uh,
I still made it work. I had fun with it.
can I explain
Um, sure.
quickly? My joystick is not crap in terms of like it's new and it works, but it only has 2 axes instead of 3, so I can't turn it like this, right?
Yeah,
And that
it
makes
was
it
new with mine.
same. You had the same.
Yeah, my first one was the Logitech 3D Pro, I think, and it had a total of 4 buttons on top, a trigger, and that's it, and no twist axis.
No, yeah, twist. I don't have twist.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know, like I still got by, and the thing that is kind of the savior in that case is if you have a hand on a keyboard, you got tons of buttons.
True.
So,
Yeah, I like that.
so that was kind of my thing. Though I will also say that the flight controls were slightly less complicated back then. Like we didn't have I didn't have to have a throttle limiter basically. Um,
Well, you know how I fly? I only change throttle
yeah, yeah,
limiter,
because
and it's always
you're
like
constantly
CC.
on
Yeah.
cruise. Yeah. Um,
If I'm using the stick, if I'm not using stick, then no.
yeah. And from there, at one point, I tried left hand stick, right hand mouse for a while. Um,
Wow. Okay.
that one, probably my least favorite. I'd say don't bother with that one. The reason I was trying to do that was because I was trying to maximize like gimbal aiming while still having kind of like more granular lateral and vertical axis control.
Did you try dual
Um,
sticks?
yes, now I currently fly with dual sticks and pedals.
Oh shit. Okay.
And yeah, I mean, as far as and in that case, basically, it's my left stick is just pull back is thrust up, push forward, thrust down, and then strafe. The twist axis on there controls my throttle limiter. Um,
Huh.
well, it's currently broken, so that doesn't work. And then my right stick obviously is just pitch, yaw, and then twist is roll. And
Mm.
then for throttle forward and throttle back, I actually use the pedals. So like gas pedal, brake pedal, basically.
Aren't
Um,
pedals supposed to be roll actually?
it's supposed to be rudder, so yaw.
Oh, rather. Okay.
Um, yeah, but I never grew up with an actual sim setup. So for me,
No, for
twist
me,
has always
yeah,
been roll.
because I've been
Um,
driving, but like, but then that's it.
yeah,
It's like
so
power.
yeah. But as far as like how to set it up, ultimately it's really just practice and getting comfortable with what you're using. Like
True.
I'll say the same thing to you as I said to Quicksilver. Go into Arena Commander, just play around in
Yeah.
free fly, you know.
And change things.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
because
totally.
that's when
Like,
you're gonna find that sweet spot. Like that's where it is.
yeah, exactly.
Don't be
Yeah.
a slave to whatever controls you get from the game. Don't be a slave to whatever sensitivity you get. FOV, change FOV. Go like bump up that
Yep.
FOV, see if it helps. I
Yep.
play on 100 FOV. I mean, it helps me so much because I can see more around me.
100%. Yep. Yeah, and that's it. Like I said, just like fly around that. There's a like a station basically that you can fly around in free flight.
Pads. There's a
Do
lot of
maneuvers
pads. There's
around there.
like tiny pads that you can like. And then if you're trouble, you're having trouble flying.
Fly
Then
through the, you know, like when you start feeling confident, fly through the little like holes in there and get used to that. And,
go
yeah.
to the racetrack on your own.
Yep. Sure. Yeah. Basically, just don't do it. If you're having issues with your controls, do not play in the persistent universe.
Yeah.
Because you spend way too much time getting back to your ship, and you know, and it makes you. I personally think that it makes you overly cautious to try new things, because
you can just
in the back of
respawn
your,
instantly in space.
exactly. And if you're doing it in the persistent universe, the constant thing in the back of your head is like, oh god, I better not crash because it's going to take me 10 minutes to get my ship back. You know, do it in free flight. Smash into things, break things, explode a lot, respawn a lot. That is way too much overlooked by the people who play this game. You know. So yeah.
I'm guilty
Anyways.
of that, but I want to change.
But yeah, that's it for questions. So
okay.
Yeah.
We are 4 minutes short of 4 hours.
Holy shit.
This is a new record. We said we're going to shorten it, so good job.
Yeah, good job, us. Let's wrap this up.
4 hours, dude. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
I fucking had so much fun today with this.
Yeah.
So glad Quixilver was here.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what he has to say after a couple weeks of playing and streaming as well. But yeah. Anyways, if you guys are for some reason still here, thank you. We like it when people watch our stuff. If you wouldn't mind throwing us a like and a subscribe, that would be sweet, because we're still brand new at this YouTube thing, and it gives us little fuzzy feelings to see the number go up. We are starting to do timestamps, which you probably have noticed already, which makes it just kind of easier to jump around to our different parts of the video if you can't sit through the whole 4 hours. Oh my god, 4 hours. But yeah, you can find us if you want to follow either of us on Twitch, twitch.tv/MasoKast, twitch.tv/JustCheg. And yeah, our Twitters and stuff as well, pretty much the same. If you want to follow for when we're going live or blah 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 blah.
If you're uncomfortable doing this on YouTube, 99% by the time this goes live, we might have stuff on Spotify as well. But if not, like throughout the week, that should happen. So there was a request from quite a lot of people on Reddit, and since the show is getting some traction now, that is obvious, and we have quite a few people following and watching, I have decided to take that extra step and go into, I don't think we're going to go anywhere else, because then Spotify is good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can listen to it if you can't deal with it. And that's...
Or rather, if you are too technologically inept to grab an app that scrubs the audio from a YouTube
I had
video.
this conversation with people live on stream, and apparently... Yeah. Let's not go into that. Man.
You know what? No. You can cut this part out if you want to.
No,
but
I'm not going to.
Everybody calls their stuff a podcast, even if it's just on YouTube.
It doesn't matter.
Everybody does.
Because it's a podcast because we don't show
format.
anything on the screen. If you want to see our faces, the only reason we have cameras here is so that you can see who is talking and like feel more comfortable. And to be fair, we use it to see each other because that makes our conversation easier. Like nothing else. So you can literally have this in 160p on your phone, in your pocket, and just listen to it. But hey.
But people on Reddit are pedantic. So apparently we can't call this a podcast because it's
a podcast.
Yeah, it is a podcast. Fuck you guys. Okay, we're done. 3, 2, 1, podcast end.
Bye.